Tired of chasing the same chicken dinner? Now it's your chance to change the game itself with the PUBG Battlegrounds UGC contest. 3 ways to enter. Go loud with combat modes. Go tense with survival modes. Or go full creative with racing, parkour, party games, or whatever this is. Publish a new PUBG UGC mode for the community to play on and compete for your share of $95,000 in prizes. Every winning mode gets uploaded to PUBG Playgrounds, featured for the community to play. That's your name out there. Plus, the top 10 in every category win cash, including $10,000 for first place. And you don't have to wait for the finale. 10 creators get picked mid-contest for putting something great out there early. Then the community picks its favorites. 6 more winners will receive cash prizes and will be chosen by the players who will actually play their modes. The contest opens on August 12th. All Battlegrounds Plus players can upload their creations. Build your mode. Make your rules. Join the PUBG Battlegrounds UGC contest now. We'll see you on your Battlegrounds.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're watching around the world, welcome back. It is time for the survival stage. The 8 teams who got knocked out of winners yesterday join the 8 teams who got knocked out last week.
All right, NMSS, can he get out Sabalu? He gets 1 actually. He gets 2. Finds Melman and Sosa for the stun grenade in. Can he get more kills done? He gets the flushes potentially from these 2. Jumps in. Oh, what a great play from him. The 3 gear really helped him in this one. Finds another one. Finds all 4. A 1v4 from Earth Sabalui. And it's going to be some damage towards Beamy now, as this is going to be annoying. Songjiang says no. 1 more point going towards GK with 14 kills. Now they're sending it in. Good nade. Damage done. The rest comes off, and not another point is going to come the way of BP. But shots come in. Akan finds 1. He finds 2. Another one. Oh, Winda did return, but it's going to be GK for a great chicken dinner mark here. Extremely well played by them.
Gustav is going to get the knock on Hong F. The story already kind of spotted and localized for anyone's legend. And now, nade. Good throw from Shrimsy. Holding this. Panzerfaust up. Destroy goes down, and it feels like the Panzerfaust is just going to have to find what it needs. It does. Falcons pick up those last 2 in the victory.
That's absolutely ridiculous. There's 9 more opponents alive. He runs in. Cloris gets LFP as well. Godlike in complete shambles. 16 kills for Expendables. He's got a molly. He's going to put a molly into that. That's beautiful. Well played. He's probably going to get it. Yeah. He's burning. He got it. It's a catch.
3 points come through. Backboard straight in. Damage though. Tambu will try and forward. It's a 10 kill though for Tambu.
But they return. Cloris finds 1. Can they get the last one? He gets it, and it's Expendables. Mark.
Oh
insane.
My God. Martin, that is a 1 and done. Insane kills.
K Kong, the last one up in a 1v3. How many explosions does he have? No, he's going to die as he lived. Explosions rain down upon his head. And Godlike take the victory and are feeling great.
Fortunate. The former Vicious squad now Losing players. Oh my God, Clary's disgusting headshot.
VP the challenger. They launch from the cars, but they launch their way in and past the big dip. Will they pick up Geeke? Is he going to be a problem though? They do jump out. He looks for one, but he gets the first one open. Second one goes through. He gets the second, but no, he will fall. Beanie will find him. It's a quick exchange, and Falcons also look to try and charge the mountain.
And now the other guys are pushing towards us. They know they are on the little bit of a dip here. There's some, oh my God, great peek from Lucarooks. Nixie finds 1-2. Shrimsy finds Lucarooks though. Kickstart finds Nixie. It's a full turnaround here. VP's down to 2.
Oh my God! Tig's gonna be there. VP will claim it. It's the Mia versus Americas at the end. But it doesn't matter why, because both of these teams punch a ticket and secure their spots in the grand final.
It all starts with 5 matches tomorrow. 10 overall to determine who gets to lift the trophy, who gets to sign their names on the placard, who gets to be immortalized in the PGS era as the champions of PGS 8 2026. Thank you so much for spending your day with us, and until we see you tomorrow, play more PUBG.
We got next, we ready to flex, we're ready to rock, headed to the top. We got next, can't settle for less. I'ma need your best, so give it all you got. We got next.
Take me to the front line. Better get your head right. You ain't gonna take my pride away. Take me to the front line. Put me in the limelight. You ain't gonna take my shine away. Take my shine away.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're watching from around the world. Welcome back to Shanghai, China for the final of PGS 8. The players have fought through the winners, the survivors, and now they stand here 16 strong, 64 players, but one dream of punching their ticket to PGC, getting one step closer, and for now, signing the placard and lifting the trophy for PGS 8. Every team that's won this is signed on the bottom and immortalized in lore for PUBG during this new era. Martin, how important is a win at PGS to these players?
It's massive, especially here in the kind of second half of the year where points are doubled, right? It's 60 points on the line for the winner this time around, and that would put you even closer to get into that top 8. As we heard some of the players talk about, that is their big goal for this year.
Huge goal, just like huge headphones. I'm not joined by just Martin. I'm joined by Matchroom and Mark Power as we continue to break down all the action. Mark, yesterday was a pretty entertaining day, explosive to say the least, but we lost some favorites, but we saw some fun blood rise to the top. So let's talk about the guys who got through Survivor that impressed you the most.
It's got to be GAM, right? GAM the Expendables. They top the leaderboard, and for me, it was that one game. It wasn't just about getting the victory. They destroyed a quarter of the lobby. They were insane. I want to see what they can bring to today. As I said yesterday, I'm keeping an eye on those teams because I expect one of them to be crowning themselves the trophy.
All right, Matchroom, I'm going to pivot to the winners lobby, the top 8 that came out from 2 days ago. Who impressed you the most, or who are you excited to see take the field of battle today from that lobby?
Oh man, are we going to see Petrichor, Road, or Supers maintain some consistency? Because we do see them like pop off on winners brackets, but then sometimes it can be a little bit lost whenever we move into the final stage. If we see them actually like start playing more consistently in that fashion, it's going to be great to watch specifically for Supers. Big expectations. We also saw 17 starting to find some consistency. I won't say it's like really 17 again yet, but we're starting to see some capabilities come out from them. JD Gaming actually scored pretty high off of that, and it feels like maybe they're warming up because this is a squad that we saw in the middle sections and the earlier sections of the game. Sometimes surrender firefights just not being prepared for them, but now we're consistently being ready for firefights in different stages and starting to find Cold finding some capabilities more and more.
I like that. And then, of course, you have Irina, who won PGS 7. They did okay. They got to the winner stage at 42 points in 4th place. Not quite as powerhousing as we saw in the previous section. Martin, did you see enough from Irina in the 5 games that we got to watch them to say that they could repeat potentially the White Rabbits?
4チームか
I mean, it's extremely difficult, right? I think my biggest take of what we've seen for this year is that when you get really good circles, really good teams will win championships. Mediocre teams will get to the finals.
シャーパー落ちちゃったな。
The arena did win. I will
NAVI
say that their
も2
last
回連
day
続落
was
ちるのと、
4 to 5 circles where
まさかのフルセンス
everything
落ち、
came to them. They
T1 落
capitalized,
ち。
you'll give them that, but I have to see more from them. I have to see them, go as good as they have so far. But when the circles go against them, because when the circle is chasing, that's where it gets rough.
That's what we call Martin's caveat face, right? So if I say things like, it can Arena do it again, or Martin, did Sonics / Falcons win a PGC? Caveat face. Full sense. Do they have an asterisk on their PGC? Caveat face. No, I totally understand it. Now, I saw you shaking your head a little bit, Matcham, when I asked him about E-Arena. What's on your mind with them?
Okay, yeah. Circles, favorable. Can't argue that in the slightest. But it's the kill counts and the inconsistency on it. I mean, a 13th and a second place, a 9th and a first place. The highest kill count that we saw come out from them was a 7. They did also have a 6. We're in a very kill-heavy meta right now, and the circles did them a favor last week, and it's just like what Martin's talking about. Whenever you do get circle favor and you win it, great. Whenever you don't get circle favor, that's whenever you're going to prove to me that that you're capable of winning way more than just one PGS.
That's fair. You got to get it. I think so. It sounds like you both agree that circles, at the end of the day, maybe gave Arena that boost that they needed to get up to the top. But one can argue a lot of the championships have been won in that last minute by sort of surprises. We go back to when the Expendables outran Liquid like 2 or 3 years ago for PGC in that last game. It does often come down to that moment. Now, a team who's not traditionally relied on circles or luck to get them to the top of the pile is Twisted Minds. Mark, when we talk about Twisted Minds over this era or this new sort of year, particularly PGS, give me your thoughts on them, because they finished sort of mid-pack in the finals, but they made the finals last week, and here they got through winners, but they only did it in 7th place. So I got to get an insight into what's going on here.
Yeah, for me, from the outside looking in, they were very slow to start, and we spoke about this yesterday a little bit, and they're growing in speed. A lot of changes have happened. Can Twisted Minds deal with the raft of change that happened? I don't think we saw that early on. We saw some teams sort of lead that, and that was that kind of VP. For me, Twisted Minds is now going to come good this second half of the year. So yes, this time they have qualified in the winners bracket. We've not seen that quite yet. We see them going through the survival stage, and that joke about playing the additional games definitely is in Batulin's camp. But a best of 10 will start to favour them. Can we see that point average be good? I think we can. They're getting used to the meta. Let's see them close out, if not 8, potentially 9. I'll be putting Twisted Minds up on top.
I think, again, that comes down to, like, we'll keep an eye on them and see what happens. It's one of those teams that is highs. The system changes have cost them, but they're so smart. I think they have to bounce back, and if it takes until PGC to do so, I'm fine with that, because when these guys show up for the big shows, they're going to put in the work to be there. A team that I thought was going to have a bigger showing this year. Okay, everybody's side by side. We got Twisted Minds and Team Liquid. This is a great comparison, because Team Liquid finished right above them, Martin, in 6th place during that winners bracket. But traditionally, if we talk hot, cold teams, this is you got to look at them.
TL 見るとタイルかと思って最初。
Yeah, absolutely. Team
タイルっ
Liquid
て
got
上がった
6
けど
more。 placement points, so obviously that kind of makes a little bit of a difference there. But I mean, I keep saying this about Twisted Minds. I'm like, okay, yeah, we know what they're capable of in the prior era of last year and FPP and so forth. But still, the pure mechanical power, the pure mechanical skill, breaking capabilities on this team here, that should put them way above that. Like, they should be always contesting that top. And yeah, when Example gets 3 kills, that's, something is wrong. That should be a 1-game kind of stat right here.
Yeah, laughing because the picture shows Example uncross his arms after doing the crossing of the arms. That's the most Example thing ever. Like, okay, I did it. Now I'm done.
Yeah, right?
I'm finished.
You told me
Take
to do
one
this.
out.
But it is one of those things, like, you're absolutely right. There's the era before this. Last year, you would put Example on any fantasy team, period. and guarantee that he makes his cash quota, right? That he would be someone that at least gets you the points required. And I think it wasn't just Fantasy that felt that way. It was Batulin. This is a guy that is always going to get me the points that are required, that is going to win those 1v1s, that is going to put up those numbers. But it's not just him. Across the board, Mark, we've seen some of our biggest, heaviest hitters not stepping up. Hakatori, king of kings in terms of fragging and up-tier potential, hasn't lived up to the stats lately.
It's all the changes that are coming through. Obviously, Navi not making it through. We spoke to him obviously yesterday, and it was all about communication. Communication is not right. Is there just too much happening? They can't just focus. A person like Hakatori just needs to point and shoot. Put him in the right place, he's going to get some kills, right? And the IGLs for me are changing. I know obviously First is not quite the IGL for Navi anymore, but he became this kind of fragging power. But Tornings recently has become this kind of fragging power for the team. So things are changing. I think it's all to do with what obviously the evolution that we're seeing around PUBG.
One of my favorite quotes from any PUBG player was Sexy Pig back in like 2018 when he goes, "No brain, all finger." I thought that was pretty good. Let's talk about another team that has been impressive but also fallen off. It's two PGS winner, time champion, two-time PGS champion, EWC group stage monster, and then what? It's Myth. I don't understand, Matt, what's going on. These guys, again, hot, cold, big pressure. What is happening? Because Myth, again, barely eked into this final.
It felt like Myth had an understanding of the meta whenever we were looking at the PGSs going into EWC, right? Whenever we look at Twisted Minds and Team Liquid and some of these other teams that we're talking about, it seems to be around circles 3 through 6 that, like, whenever they try to enter the game, things go wrong. They end up with just like one player up and surviving, and then that player's trying to make something happen. Myth was kind of brute forcing their way through that section of it, just with firepower, killing capabilities. And now they're going with a more tactical approach, and the more tactical approach that they're trying to use to make it in the later stages to keep more players up is significantly costing them because they're coming into places where they don't necessarily have as much information and getting dismantled. We're talking about a lot of teams, if you haven't noticed, consistency through Navi, Twisted Minds, and Myth, all teams that have big high-end like fragging power that we can see happen. But the mid game, where we're seeing a lot of a center meta, still has a couple of teams that are kind of forced to play edge. And whenever we get these hard shifts across the circle, teams are just being forced to kind of fight amongst themselves to get a point here or there because they don't want to make the gambled push into that hard shift. And a lot of times now, squads that were having high expectations for their fragging power aren't the ones that are making it in. The third party is just too strong and stopping them in their tracks.
Another team that's good is Petrichor Road. I mean, these guys came out on top here, Martin. They got 46 points, but I wouldn't call that an overwhelming win when it came to winners. Did you see anything that spoke to you from that team that gives you hope when we come to this sort of grand final? Do you think that they can carry that momentum into here today?
Let me just quickly wrap up on Myth. I really want to add on to that before we go on to Petrichor Road. Myth is the kind of team where if Circle comes their way, they will win tournaments. They will dominate. But when Circle goes really rough with them, they turn around and say, okay, let's try to gatekeep a team here, get our points per game average up to like 5, 6, and then see what we can do. And the problem is that they spend too long time in the kind of early to mid game on trying to get those few points here and there, where they then don't have one guy looking into, okay, what's the next step? So their backup plan becomes the only plan rather than saying, okay, let's get this done and then actually see if we can make a play for the kind of further stages. They had extremely rough circles in the winner stage, except for game 1. They were chasing, coming in from Shipyard all the way over to the western side and then circle away. And that when that happens, Myth is a team that's going to fight one or two teams and then just lose. So that's one of the teams that's really struggling with getting a decent circle. But yeah, for Petrichor Road, though, I have a great expectations and hope for them. We've seen them win another PGS this year. They have great outfits that's going to be coming out for the 17th of August. So make sure you check out the shop for this, of course. So yeah, really hoping Petrichor Road is going to continue this because it's been a little bit of a struggle bus for China as an overall this year so far, except for Petrichor Road.
So before it pops away, remember, guys, you can go into game and get your 2026 PUBG Esports Global Partner Team skins that are out right now. Petrichor, as we just mentioned, is there. If you don't like spending as much money on material, Gen G's jacket is available for you. Fun little crop top. But let's talk about the total kills now that we are past that. MIS 218, and this is PGS overall kills, Matchroom.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. We talked about the capabilities of MiTH. Kiss and Scappy both just big come up. Of course, Hyma's going to be up there on the top of it, just the capabilities that we've been able to see him bring out. Shin for 4 Angry Men on an of his own, but then it's kind of more the known commodities when we look back over. Intriguingly enough, Nixie is not necessarily as high up on that list as I thought he'd be.
活躍してきた
Built for the
選
big
手
stage. I like that little caption. It
が
smells
あまりにもポイント取れ
smells of Steven.
取れてない
All right, so we got MS, Kiss, Ming Ming, DL, and Nixie. Now, all of these players are actually ready to go on the grand final. These are sort of the playmakers of them. When you look at this, Martin, is there what? Okay, I'm taking Nixie off because he's got back-to-back MVPs. The other 4,
Right.
who stands out to you that's like the most exciting to watch?
Yeah, let's take him off because he also didn't play 2 finals and he played way less games. The total kills is a thing, but I need to see that average as well. It needs to be just as a little disclaimer at the bottom. But yeah, honestly, like from what we've seen from those this year, like, you have to continue to just look at it and say, okay, who's been most impressive so far this year? It just has been Kiss. Like he's had such, the highest highs when we're not talking about Nixie. That has just been Kiss. Like when they get circles that they can work with, they go absolutely bonkers. Look at that PGS 6, right? The average point is just insane.
Not too shabby. You can also see the 8.9 there. They got a PGS 4. Consistent performance is the path to that trophy, sort of what the point averages have been for our champions so far. Now, that said, I think you're right. MiTH is one of those teams that they get real hot and then they get real cold, and it all does seem to resolve around Kiss, but that seems kind of like it's happening with a lot of our teams lately. Matchroom is that we're constantly seeing. I feel like there was a period where it was all about superstars, and then it became 4-player strong. And lately, it feels like the emergence of a good duo or superstar is actually starting to carry teams.
全然
Yeah, and I mean,
大会出始めた
kind of had
頃が
deal up there for
2020
just a second, and that was one of those players that I kind of focus
多
in
分その
on.
2年後
Supers kind of
2022
feels
年ぐら
exactly
い
what
か
we're
な
talking about right with that. They kind of bounce
4
between the
年
two.
ぐらいかな
Hey, I'm going to interrupt you real quick. Let's jump over to Yinxie on stage as he's getting ready to kick us off.
All PUBG fans around the world, welcome to the PGS8 final stage. I'm Yinxie, and I'm joined on the stage with our 16 finalist teams. Patricia Road and DN Supers share the top of the leaderboard for a very competitive winner stage. And GEM, the Expandables, dominated the survival with a huge chicken dinner, while Virtus.pro grabbed the final spot with a clutch chicken dinner. Now, all our teams are ready. Let's see what they can do in a final stage. The trophy is waiting, and the championship is on the line. To all our teams, this is a moment. The final stage is on the way. So guys, are you ready to be the one?
We got next. We ready to flex. We're ready to rock. Give it all you got. We got y'all rockin' to the top. Can't stop it. Must be off your rocker, then you gon' stop her. We got next.
Be the one team to lift the trophy. Be one of the 4 players to sign their name. Be one of the PGS champions. Be the one that proves to everyone they should be terrified of you when you get to PGC. The PGS trophy is in front of every player. It's what they look at. They sit at these computers and get ready to go. We've talked about Petrichor. We've talked about this team. They looked good coming out of winners, Mark. I think you're back. Let's get into, can they do it again? I want your, do you really think these guys have the push?
No. I'll read that quickly just in case it disconnects. I just can't see the consistency. I think they've done really well in the winner stage, and I like how they play when they're on fire. I think it depends on this first game. A best of 10, I would lean on kind of the point average for some of the other teams that are sitting around these computers. But look, prove me wrong. I think we're going to be in for a tight best of 10.
It should be good. All right, I'm not asking you to pick a winner. I'm asking you to pick a favorite, Mark. Who's your favorite to take this thing?
Oh, get on the Expendables. I'm going to throw it out there now, just because I'm on screen.
Martin, I'm not asking you to pick a winner. I'm asking who you're the most excited. Who's your favorite to possibly win this?
Okay, real quick, what I'm really excited about is that now with T1 and NAVI not playing, there's a lot other teams that's not in the current top 8 of the PTS points, that if they do well here, they're going to be able to jump ahead of T1 and NAVI. That means that they could get a direct spot going straight to PGC here from PTS. That would be massive. So I'm really looking at Falcons. I'm looking at GK. I'm looking at a team like anyone's Legends. These teams are close, but they need to get big points here. A top 3 would be massive.
Matchum, you know I'm going to ask you, who's your favorite for this? Who are you keeping an eye on?
Easy. Now we're moving to 10 games. Consistency is going to be big. VP is who I have my eyes on.
I love that. As we look at them right now, I got to say I'm keeping eyes on the Americas teams. Godlike in here for the first time. And we got Liquid, who put up some numbers in the group stages. They are at second place at a PGC 2 years ago. They have the potential to get through there. So I'm hoping this is a team that can use this opportunity with some big names not in it, as you brought up, Martin, to really try to surge to the top. We're getting ready to play right now. We got a few left to go. Anyone's Legend, Alpha Gaming. These guys also taking the field. Alpha Gaming, Mark, I feel like has been a little bit wishy-washy since the swap off of Vicious.
Yeah, we talk about consistency. It's just not with them at the moment. They had a good day yesterday, but they kind of scraped through on the cutoff line for 31, and it's all around kills. They are surviving on kills alone. If they have to try and work on that placement points, they need to look at trying to get into late game, because at the moment they're getting closed out of circles.
Martin Geeke, tough group, okay yesterday, or winners, or tough winners, okay yesterday. What do you think we get out of them today?
I won't tell you because the game's ready to go.
Well, you keep your secrets, sir, as game number 1 is ready to begin. Let's get ready to head to the grassy pastures of game 1 of 10 here at the PGS 8 final gets ready to start. We're going to send it over to your casting duo, the M&Ms. It's Matchup and Mark Power.
All right, PUBG fans, it's time to get it going. We've got 5 games on the day, kicking it off on Erangel, and we've given you a breakdown of everything that you need to know. But there is always going to be the evil circles looming in the distance, hardships, water, tons of things to be looking at. As Mark, it is time to get this one on.
Durango is coming from the west up towards a northeast, so we are cutting off a large proportion of this map as we will hunt out for the plane. There is some questions around sort of the hot drops. For me, especially around the sort of Gen G, yes, now will be in play, so expect sort of a Gen G Team Liquid share. It's a big enough city though, Matchman, that they could get away with it. I'm worried though, if they want to be aggressive, get some early points, it's not a place to be landing.
Oh, I'm trying to fight potential Rap God and M&M jokes, just given the fact the M&M toss in here. I know we're talking about sweet candies, but also sweet lyrics, man. We're gonna try to squeeze some in here throughout the day. So, Yasnaya, eyes on it. You can see it is going to be a Gen G Team of Liquid stacked on top of each other. Looks like it is going to be a little bit of separation. The road going to mark between the two.
Yeah, Kita to Minami de wakarete
Yeah, there you go. They're going to make the commitment over. Circle pops, and it goes right along the river to the west.
Yeah, they've indicated a few times that they're going to be landing here, so I think the eyes will be on the Orangles as Team Liquid take towards that south side. And again, it's all dependent on going for that middle car. Gen G's taking that position at the moment, so they could grab that and go. Team Liquid obviously got those cars out on that south side, so they could, again, disengage. Zone has exposed, and it is back the way we came, so we're sort of over towards that west side. Everest is very much going to be a pinnacle point here, but we do work all the way back over towards Rozhok. Even school and apartments are still in.
Yeah, this is one of those 50-50 potential mindsets when we look at the circle itself. You have to assume that's going to pull down to the south. We do have a lot of squads that are already going to be clustering around, but we do have a lot of fields inside this circle, kind of eating the center and going down into the southwest. So later rotates a little bit more of a send onto the edges could be a thing. Safer, definitely up in the northern section. Over outside of that, of course, we're still going to be watching at Team Liquid and Gen G. This is a very lukewarm drop. No jokes intended towards Luke 12, but it's just going to be about trying to get themselves a little bit more in situation. This is a momentum builder for either one of these squads if a skirmish does break out. But I mean, really, Yasnaya can support 2 different teams, find a vehicle, and get out pretty cleanly on either side of it. Speaking of getting out pretty clean, there's the res, and time to go back to Rozhok and get some loot going.
Yeah, it's going to be timing now. It's not really what you're going to be taking. Supers obviously have performed really well recently. Again, another team which I suppose people have to keep an eye on as a potential contender. Petrichor Road, we spoke about them, we spoke about momentum.
あ、変
To
な。
watch the car exit. You can see it was obviously already leaving. They've gone not too far away from here, but potentially looking to try and close the door on a Petrichor Road migration.
いや、こ
Yeah, a quick regroup coming up from them to try to get at least a bit
どのポジションが。
better off. So whenever we look at Petrichor Road and how they're kind of nearing more into the east of this is, oh, that was like stubbing his toe and knocked him over.
Look, I'm not going to get hit with a US, all right? Stubby toe or not. That would put me down. They got the time to get the Reds back on. I think Petrichor Road was maybe if they saw a glimmer of hope, they might have potentially made a push. Cowboy has exited, but he's made his way down towards that south. Concerned about he's got limitations, especially around the firing power.
それは PGC で
But we are seeing Geekay. They are departing away. Parko is moving towards the south.
A couple of shots going to be coming out from the Supers on Petrichor Road as they make their wrap. Cuts right in between them. So, Super is going to be a bit more separated over here, but capable of regrouping down on what we just saw a couple of shots come from. Looks like Petrichor Road's just going to be going for a wrap around Ruins to see if maybe they can get more of position. Is this maybe an Everest push for information? Not certain. There's also a couple of crossroad positions that you can play over here where you can kind of go north-south easy. That might be what we see Petrichor trying to pose up for. Not exactly certain. That's a very interesting rotate given the fact that they were kind of around that Rozhok positioning and then opted to kind of wrap around Supers to the south instead of to the north. So there is a very big focus for what they want over here as Dylan's got to focus on the rotate from E Arena right next to him.
Not just a rotator, pull up. I don't think they know he's here. He has the door closed. I wonder if he's left any giveaways. Might be the case if they get back in the vehicle. He does take the step up and he gets a free kill. Norwich will be first to fall here for match number 1. And for anyone's legends, they catch the arena slipping.
Oh, anyone's legend with first blood.
うわー、これ移動中に落とされるとなんか止めたくなくなるんで。
because man, they are entertaining.
でも止め
But
たかっ
sometimes it
た
just
な。
feels like they can't really find the positioning that they want for those type of kills. Eyes on to Everest. It's going to be JD Gaming up on top of it. Twisted is going to be just to the north of that. We have Gam the Expendables that are going to be playing in the lower section of Everest, leading into Petrichor Road, as well as Supers that we saw just a moment ago. 17 still going to be around that Pachinki positioning, but a bit more to the north of it, and also getting control over the hillside to the southwest. GK is going to be going for a wrap, while VP is coming in just to the south of 17. Our cluster to the northeast is still going to be Falcons, Gen G, Team Liquid, Myth, with a very slow rotate, and not even rotate, just kind of sitting there chilling, maybe just trying to get some more loot and godlike very far over to the east.
I think godlike, if I was a gambling man, I think they've got an emergency pickup. They are very, very tight. And I think what they're doing is they're waiting to take this in the blue. So once they get towards the zone, maybe they sort of see the next zone. Saying that though, they have opted maybe not to. They are getting back in their cars now and they will rotate round to the south. So going in by Milta and potentially coming to that southeast corner. Unfortunately for them, GK's already moved in, VP set up, and so is 17 Gaming because they've not had to leave the drop zone.
I'm a little bit worried because Team Liquid seems like they were having some troubles finding vehicles. They've had a couple of teams that dropped next to them, and I think that they're trying to secure something. I saw at least one, but I don't know how many they have in their pocket. Myth is doing a much slower rotate, and we did talk about that sometimes Myth gets bogged down in these like earlier skirmishes. So if Myth sees this, they might take a couple of pot shots over at Cowboy and the rest of the crew, but I think that it looks like maybe just on how Myth is making this rotate, it could be fine. They could pass right in between Cowboy and the rest of Team Liquid, but it's pretty close. It does feel like they're looking for something.
Yeah, I think you're right. They're looking for vehicles. We had Myth on that sort of east side of them. We've had Genji land in the town. And as we said before, they conquered the vehicle in the town. So they pushed Team Liquid to the south side. They've got to really think about this, especially with multiple angles. They're going to need to think about how they're going to exit. Myth taking the other car, they're going to rotate past. Lucky enough for them, Cowboy.
There you go.
Well, he's been on his horse and he's galloped his way down.
Yeah.
Finding his first vehicle. Yeah, we can say he's a spawn. He's picked up Scappy. Hopefully he'll go grab that blue chip and potentially get moving.
Well, I mean, Team Liquid's very slow on this rotate. Baron might have a goal of going for this. Is he going to set up on it? Oh, no, he's just going to go ahead and say, more important than the vehicle, BRDM, scary. I don't want to take shots at it. It's just time to go.
Do you know what? I think they've applied enough pressure to get that blue chip back, but we'll have to wait and see. Cowboy has tucked out and he gallops forward. It's not just a BRDM, they've got the air support as the kiss of death, though. Reigns the supreme. I thought he was about to land then, but
でも
now
順
he's
位ポ
getting
イ
on
ン
the seat spot
ト
and
タ
a
イ
couple
ブ
of
レーク
shots
順位
though.
ポイントの
Good
方
aerial
が
coverage.
優
The
先度
Cowboy.
高いん
I
じゃ
suppose the reward is a vehicle.
Man, that sucks. A BRDM and a glider, but you still lose a player in rotate. That is just early game myth in a nutshell. They had tons of opportunities, but should be able to get him back and ready to go. Circle pops, and it actually does lean more into the north. So Everest going to be getting a lot of attention up there. Getting some vision. You can see that it is going to have Gamma the Expendables and JD Gaming still on it. All the squads that were playing down into the south in the fields, quick rotates, but most of them already inside of vehicles expecting some circle shenanigans.
They've got to have some luck here. They've got to, based on the timing, there's bottlenecks for these teams to rotate in, apart from kind of Alpha, Falcons, and argue Twisted Minds, who left bodies on this north side. Everyone else has to migrate. Genji already over. VP coming in a little bit slower as they will sort of backfill these positions on the south side, not fully committed. Falcons, as we said already, all on that north side. They rotated long ways round. Everyone else, though, it's a scramble for cover.
This is actually some pretty good positioning coming up from Twisted really early. This is a bit of a modification off of where they went for their drop. So they could have a very wide 2-2 split here, but they are trying to at least take enough shots to keep some safety for themselves, but not trying to encourage anybody to go for a crash. So very wide separation, controlling both of the bridges that are going to be more western lane. So a couple of opportunities to maybe get a knock, but not really anybody giving themselves away in positioning. Falcon's already going to be on point off of the get-go as well as Alpha. Godlike taking a couple of shots, and it's going to be on to Myth again. Another one down is God. This early game is just a catastrophe for them.
Game one has become a myth for them. Unfortunately, they might have all the tools, but we'll go back towards the other side.
みんな同じ反応
Down
よ
Expendables took a big knock early on. Nixie, though,
こ
sees
れ
the
は
opportunity.
フ
Now
ァ
they
イト
climb the mountain.
早く
Glory
起きるかもしれ
kill
ないね
confirm. They know where the knocks happen. They see the smoke. Grenade goes over. It's 1-2. Doesn't get the damage done. No confirmation. Luke Rux has to wrap his way around. M249 in hands. And the VP are closing the claw onto Gam the Expendables.
Nowhere to go. Yep, Beanie's got the vision on it. That US is just near on stuck. Well, that could almost run over Correxy, but that'll be enough to go ahead and finish that one out. That's going to be 3 kills, only 1 really getting away, and VP starting pretty strong. And eyes onto the circle. Looks like most people are starting to find some type of navigation to get away from the other teams near them. A bit worried about Petrichor Road. They're just kind of cutting across the island coming from out of Razak. And I think that they've got at least a hillside for safety for the time being. As here's poor old Dutch by himself.
He knows they're coming for him. He senses it. Duck Juice is going to take the water, as it might be the only safe route for him now to survive this one out. But
he'll take the water like a duck to water?
Maybe. Maybe not. He's going to go to the containers. He knows. You can see the smile on his face. He knew a couple of shots. He tried to deny those vehicles getting moving. And VP played that so well. They saw the knock. They took full advantage. And obviously capitalized now on the high side.
That's one of the reasons I just love Duck Juice so much, man. He feels unfiltered. He's always just so happy. Even whenever things go wrong, things are starting to go wrong for Godlike, though, as it is Team Liquid. Oh my God. Great shot.
Oh my God.
God, just wrecked Godlike.
Talk about a slow start. They are now in galloping force. Cowboy, a 1-2 with their links.
話戻るけど、順位ポイント、前回の、試合のマッチポイント、前回のマッチの合計ポイント。で、
All right, let's see how everybody handles this new circle with the river kind of cutting through it.
1個前の試合の
そのト
ータルポイントがどっちが高かによる。4番目がダメージ。キルはないね。
With their emergency pickup is going to be landing in the foothills, just kind of in the center of it all. The Falcon's going to get some vision. It's only a matter of time before maybe Supers as well as Alpha spots them out. Nowhere to really go, so just land in the center of the circle and hope it's
シー
good
ドポイント
enough.
はただもらえてるだけ今回ウィナーズの順位によって
They have to ridge a little bit more towards their northeast, and they are going to get digging here. Alpha Gaming taking on Alpha Gaming.
優先されるというのはキルなんだっけ
Everyone else really is just
タイブレイクの
sitting
話
down, just
かな
waiting for the next zone. There is a bit of space here, but not much that he
シー
seems
チ
to
は
play
ね
from.
これレッドゾーンがここ
Yeah,
ら
I
辺に
mean,
落ちたっていうのを
the craters are
見て
just
から
good enough.
向かってる
It
ね
doesn't feel good.
それもそれでありかもしれないね。あそこにレッドゾーンが落ちました。
But I mean,
じゃあフ
for
ル
the
トンに
time
行きましょう
being,
って
it's
言ってそこの
survivable. Anyone's Legends went for a northern wrap, and they're going to be running right into Team Liquid. Team Liquid's pretty focused on what's going on with MiTH in front of them. Do they have eyes back behind them? Because if not, this could be a big problem. Here's the vehicles, spins back around, but Cowboy already taking a lot of damage. It's actually going to be Salute that gets the knock on him. That's going to be from the west.
Yeah, from the west, but Himus gets it. Anyone's Legend came from the west as well. So providing pressure for Team Liquid. They're trying to disengage. The door's being closed on them. They've been caught out. Delwyn finds Halo. Purdy able to try and help out, but Luke gets an ulti down. They're down to 2, and they are holding the line.
当たっちゃってる気がす
Anyone's
るけど
Legend is just stacked right on top of this weakened Team Liquid, and they're stuck over here. Team Liquid was taking shots over to MiTH, so now MiTH is just third-partying this, and they have a focus onto Team Liquid. They want vengeance back more than they want to try to get anything onto Anyone's Legend. Anyone's Legend's playing the upper section of the hillside and keeping just enough distance on angle so that way MiTH can't really do anything. It's just now 2 squads trapped, Team Liquid right on this spot, and you can see that there's not any really good angles for Team Liquid to fight their way out from this.
Love this. Luke 12 trying to keep alive at the moment as he's providing cover. The car jumps up and denies
車から投げた
from the
ね
tree. Delwyn wraps
うま
out. And again, for Anyone's Legend, they're trying to find the angle. Purdy's trying to dance the dance now as he goes round the car, dodges the grenades back in towards the smoke. Splash damage is not going to cause as much as they require. Anyone's Legend down a body, but up to 3 kills here. And Luke 12, a key position in especially this chest game.
Oh.
From MiTH, the other side, Delwyn falls down.
That's where I was starting to get worried. This has gone on too long that MiTH is starting to get into the point where they get good angles on it. Gen.G's actually moved more into the west to see if they can keep a containment going on with supers. GK, though, very few options, so it's just time to send it right into the center of the circle. They're going to be pathing right up next to 17, maybe right into 17, so we'll have to see how that affects kill feed in just one moment. Poor old Kurt just having to see if maybe he can prep up a nade. And there you go, right down into the dips. GK rolls. Doritos coming down. Everybody's falling over here. Is GK. There is nowhere to find safety. They're going to get dropped. Falcons want to get involved. Does Alpha now want to move in as well?
テトラポットキルだ
took him out the car. It completely crumbled the US. Back on the other side, Purdy still trying to survive this one out. That damage from the grade is going to be a bit too much. The blue might get that confirmation. It is Luke 12, final player now for Team Liquid. Just to try and go for the rotation round, and it is chaos. Falcons have collapsed on the top side. DN Super's trying to collapse in. JDG collapsing in. It is carnage in the center of zone.
It's just the spot where 17's playing at. We saw Supers run in here. Now JD also over here. It's just an absolute massacre on this point. Falcons have been trying to hold some type of angle around it, as well as Alpha on the other side. But JD Gaming, respect, you managed to choose going a little bit further to the east, and therefore you find safety in life instead of moving down into where 17 was at, because that little ditch that they managed to dig for themselves and the mortar craters, that's just, it's just hell on earth right now. Don't go near that place.
You say ditch, I say grave. Let's see how long they can keep out of that and keep it back in the ditch. They are down. Remember, it's the final player. Falcons obviously has good stuff down. They have delayed trying to get that res at the moment based upon position, as they did try and hold that ridge line. Falcons, though, in the vehicles. They're going to try and use these now as cover. JDG actually gets... Oh, he's back. He's airborne. We've just seen him go over the top. He's going to be looking for some loot here. And Strimsy looking to pick up his boy and get him back to safety.
Just a little bit too hot over here for Falcons, so they're trying to regroup more to the north. I think that with the recalls from the Expendables, might be trying to see if they can get any vision on how this circle's going to lay. VP's trying to come in from the west. They're going to have this ridge line with some vision down into Gen.G, as well as Gam the Expendables and Alpha's positioning. It doesn't feel good. It is right on the edge of the zone, but it is moving you directly into the bowl of death where we've been watching everything go on. For the time being, though, Gen.G going to be putting in a ton of work right on top of all of it as Team Liquid finally does fall over into the east, and it is at least going to be Nixie finding one of those on the game to the Expendables. 5 kills and climbing, but now they have to run down from their high ground here in just a moment. And what do they do as the circle is getting ready to pop, and it goes to the east?
actually really like what VP are doing at the moment. They're playing slow, methodical, like calm. They're just picking off the fights they want to pick off. The zones, again, continuing sort of leaving their position. Just in mind, with a barrage of mortars, might be looking not just for kills, but opportunity to find some craters to move these vehicles in. Example, he's already out. He's moving a little bit of safety, using that ridge line. There you go. There's that last mortar goes ahead. Again, I think they'll find a position.
Glory's landed right on top of MiTH, and MiTH is just like, thanks. The blue zone is actually what ends up doing it for him, but okay, so like we talked about, we got Twisted down to the south. Petrichor Road still has one of their players, 926, that was kind of trying to see if any supervision was going to be coming over here. So pretty much the way to look at it is Genji's going to have control of the north. Into the center, it's going to be Falcons as well as JD holding both sides of a hilltop.
これ
17 got a little bit of their, I guess, mortar spots that they're playing. VP, very few options. They're going to be
こういう
running
時
right
に
along
あ
the
れが欲
side.
しいよね
Genji's
モ
gonna
ー
take
ター
shots
と
out
か
of it. It's
キル
gonna
も
be
できる
right
かも
next
し
to
れ
the
ないし穴も
Falcons
作ることもできるよ
positioning.
あ
Time looks like
ー
it's Pop that's going to force VP to
回
jump
転
out,
しちゃっ
and they
た
are in the no man's land. Oh, that is a ton of lines just instantly beaded in onto VP. If they can keep anybody alive in the
すごい
situation,
す
it'd
ご
be
い
a
す
miracle.
ごいすごい
Yeah, they've actually kept one alive.
ファルコンズマジで美味しい思いしてるじゃん
Left behind.
うわすごいすごいすごいすごい
Kill confirm on the outside, but now he's got to make runs. So VP torn apart.
こん
Falcons now taking full advantage of this one. After
フリーなことあ
they're
る
going to try and get the reses. That BRDM is going to help a hell of a lot. And the smoke will provide the cover that's needed unless the Twisted Minds comes in and steals it. I'm just saying.
That was just a last-second res coming up. Falcons, they're in the middle of a target-rich environment, and fortunately, they are the targets. They're trying to spin around, keep an eye on everything that's going to be going on. Genji just keeps kind of doing this, like, jack-in-the-box style of approach. They just peek over the top of the hill, take a couple of shots at him, and instantly retreat again. With VP still having all their players kind of splattered across the hill, it looks like maybe Beanie's thinking that he's got an opportunity to go for Nixie. He's going to send it over there. It's going to be very close to Falcons, but Genji's still pretty caught up looking at JD Gaming. So outside of this, we also do have Twisted Minds trying to make their push right up on top of Alpha. 17's Winbow, though, is going to put in some work to help finish it out.
They are going to help finish it out. Twisted Minds have found entry now. JDG obviously on that top side. VP has got beaming. As you mentioned, they are going for those reses. This other team that's going for the reses is Falcons. Let's quickly jump in onto Falcons comms because we've got a pressure from VP, but we've also got Genji on the north.
I'm leading blue.
Yeah,
If you have one smoke for me,
I don't have any
smokes. I throw smokes. I threw it.
北側入れて分かってんのか
Mark from green, all you.
He's resing green as well. They're gonna be 3 up.
Green
is flushed. They're 2 alive, and it's a doer on blue mark.
だいぶきついなあやっぱり北側からの車線やね
Sometimes silence says a lot, as it is just Kickstart now watching at distance.
いやそうだよねいや俺もちょっと思ったんだよそんなに
VP did
いや
manage to find a way to get
岩
control,
上
get that
いた
res
りと
back
か
up. Petrichor Road,
そ
though,
んな
now
フ
needs
リ
to
ーな
move
わけ
over
な
to
く
circle Twisted Minds as
お
well.
お
Send it in fast and heavy, but Nons manages to stay himself alive. Gets a knock in the flush on a Chewy. Is that going to be enough for Petrichor Road to see if they want to continue on that pathing, or are they going to be held back by that solo? MiTH is going to roam up into the north, and that's going to put them right next to Genji and poor old Kickstart.
I see Petrichor Road again trying to work their way in, not letting those 10-point advantages slip away. So 5 kills, just a mind on the other side now working their way into the graveyard shift. It's not long before they find Wembo. 17 gaming falls, 8 place for them. So they do find placement point, and Twisted Minds finds a little bit of position, a bit of a breathing spot before they have to make the next climb, and that is towards VP.
The only real thing that we're looking at with these solos is that Kickstart's at least got himself some safety, that nobody's going to make a commitment to make the push just yet. We're at phase number 6, 17 alive, and really it's just going to be the way that these hillsides have lain that's making all these different fighting arenas, trying to keep distance away from the higher ground at different points. See, that's Nixie looking up to Genji, so that's pretty much across the circle from high ground to low ground, and why we see Twisted and Petrichor Road now kind of jockeying up against each other because they don't want to move into the valley that Genji just has so much control over.
It's the valley of death at the moment, and the Twisted Minds, they've got that BRDM, able to just kind of scout as they move forward. They can have a little peek over the top. And Battalions, well, taking some damage now, so good to see Petrichor Road trying to go, actually, do you know what? You're not going to peek here. He's done enough. And actually steps out and puts Battalions down. He's so far away from the rest of Twisted Minds. That plan hasn't executed the way they wanted.
Now it's time for throwables and see how the setups work with the smokes down for Twisted Minds, trying to creep their way forward, but means that they're going to have to just brute force their way right through it all. And oh, those Doritos got a little bit close, but at least going to provide some safety. Didn't get knock onto anybody. Ming Ming's trying to prep up the nade, but depending on how this curves down through the Doritos, nope, doesn't really bounce off of anything. Instead, just runs right through the middle of it all. Petrichor Rhodes got to rally some type of defense over here because Twisted is getting closer and closer by the second. And it does feel like Petrichor Rhodes doesn't know exactly where they're coming from, just due to how many smokes are down.
Yeah, I think at this point now, Twisted know they're down bodies, and I think they're trying to maximize the amount of points they can get out of this game. Blue looking to try and charge forward. Example was holding the anchor, but they've now stacked up. Another grenade goes over the top. They've got the cover of the vehicle. That flash was perfect time. Put Blue down, but Example, he's there. He steps up. It's not just one, it's two, and he punches a hole in the side of Petrichor Road.
Oh, he's trapped out in the blue. Can't get anything on the last member, but so now Petrichor Road, you're stuck over there. Can you at least get over in time for the res? This doesn't look like it. No! Kickstart, his shack is finally being pushed. It's by a BRDM of all things. So Molotov's gonna pop in there, and Kickstart's just kind of stuck, but everybody down in the south is weakened or dead, so nobody's taking pot shots at him.
Yeah, no, it's causing any damage. He's extinguished the flames. The blue does the damage, and now he'll go back to safety. Soul will find Nixie here, falling fifth, and now we enter into a top four. Genji, Myth, Falcons, and JDG.
Yeah, two of those teams are solos. That makes it a little bit scarier, and one of them has been, I guess, the antagonist of this circle, and Genji up to the north, because, man, they have just been holding down the circle for multiple circles now, and finally their valley is going to be what they have to walk down into. They still have a little bit of their ridgeline to play. Poor old JDG, looks like you're about to have a friend roaming over here next to you, and just you're part of the tree. You're fine. You're fine. Yeah, see, they don't see you. You blend in the surroundings.
This looks safe. This looks good. Let's jump out. Kick, lucky enough for him, he's had limited ammo. He's
いや、分かってる、見えてる。
Oh my god. Kiss, that is disgusting. Nothing to see here. Grenade. JDG will fall in fourth place. Kick trying to keep his head down. He's in the center of the zone. I'm glad that he can hear the gunshots from Gen G taking on the Myth.
Okay, so it's a pretty much north, south, high ground, low ground.
いや、本当にそう。キクサーと追っ払ったのすごい。ブルーゾーンで、後ろに下がること、降りることを願ってグレネードを倉庫車の下に入れて出たところに当たるようにしたんだけど、それで嫌がったらもう一回やれたらまずいと思って、ただキックスタート実際何もない。でも生き残ってるだけでだいぶでかい。
I wouldn't trust Kick. I wouldn't count him as a fifth person on my team. He'd stab you in the back straight away for a kill. Get those Falcons up there. They're in fifth. Grenades over the top. Soul will use the Dorito cover now. That'll provide a potential another step to have a look over the top. But he has a Panzer in his back pocket. Kiss. Oh, for the kill feed. That's not great. A car parked on top of a car. Flames it at distance. From Gen G. That puts him on 8 kills.
New circle pops. Kick's the only one in it as we go straight up into the valley. Two players from Gen G playing down next to the two players remaining from Myth. Kickstart still kind of forcing the other players from Gen G to play that high section of the hill because they don't want to surrender that angle for Kickstart to kind of roam around and do whatever. They need to keep him contained. So there is a weird world with this 2v2 down at the bottom. If Gen G isn't careful, their man advantage is a bit split right now. So while they do have this as a 4v2v1, it's presently a 2v2.
オレンジの車を使って移動してたのを見たけど。
So we'd say that
でその間に
still remain with a 3.66% chance of victory. I think that's based upon again that limited amount of ammo. He has to be very careful about the shots he makes. He's going to keep, I think, that position loud. Gen G potentially looking at now as an opening. They are keeping eyes on that door. The car is going to rotate its way around. Being going to be there. Myth is launching out one of the longest smoke walls ever to return back to take Kick head to head.
I think that they want that second place. They've realized that they are heavily outnumbered by Gen G. So let's just make a smoke wall directly into Kickstart's shack. And I think that he's got an idea. He's going to try to step out, but it is going to be Scappy that gets him. So now it is a straight up 2v4. And Jin G knows it. They're coming down the hillsides. Nades out, rolling. Scappy gets a lot of damage though.
本ちゃん負けるからねこれ。うやいいグレ。
But Baron, he lines it up.
グレもう一個あるよ。
We're now down into a 2v2.
ステップはない。
So TWIS, the two's got Scar in hand as well. Talk about plays for game number one. Has to be careful, trying to figure out where the other two players are. Grenade goes over towards the top. Scappy going to get in the vehicle, gives me a little bit of elevation, but gives him the opportunity now to step onto the bonnet. He picks up Bean, he's in the open, and oh my god, myths are become legends as they will look to try and take the 2 versus 1, and Soul, a Panther on his back.
Just by
himself, he can turn this into a 1v1 the moment somebody peeks him. But I mean, Baron, Scappy, playing like they need everything in the world right now. Climb comes up. They're making the impossible possible moment by moment. Can the Panzerfaust turn the odds back around? Soul just holding down center dot right now, hoping the blue zone will put in the work, as it is going to be Myth having to walk into the more open section where no cover is at. And you have to think that Myth just burned a lot of their smokes, a lot of their utility just to get there.
And a lot of it, you can see it from outer space. We talk about Matt, that smoke went from one side to the other. They've got no more utility left. Surely Kick didn't have much. They had major amounts of engagement as well. The only good thing Genji have got is they've still got 2 up. I know they're bleeding, but they are providing information. Soul just needs to keep calm. They need to try and get him to commit. Here comes the flash. Scappy, he may be using a bit of...
予想通り予想通り予想通り。カイミあるよカイミあるよ。
Solo at a tree just a moment ago, but the cover now up for Baron. Wreckage in front of him to work with. Nade started to come out on the other side from Soul. Manages to balance up the cover, but it rolls down the hill. That's providing something for Baron to try to use to creep forward. Molotov comes out, trying to stop Baron in his tracks, and Soul keeps control, but now the center dot a little bit between the two of them. The Molotov's just stopping Baron out. He's got to take down Soul and navigate around this blue zone back behind him. There's no cover. There's no way to get in. He has to wrap around the other side, but the stun is good. Does Soul have it in him? Goes for the toss-up. Does the stun connect? It does. Just a couple more damage is going to be enough. The peaks between the two. And it is going to be Jin G that finds it.
いやでもミスよくキルポイント3つ取れたよ。
And then Myth tried to make themselves legends, but for Soul, he held and hugged that tree close. A good victory for Genji. Let's bring back though Avenger and Toffees. Wow, what a game to kick off the finals.
It was wild. Utility was the name of the game. Tough spots, ridiculous hold. Myth put up a nice move to go ahead and dig the start out, but Soul on that tree just had every trick available to stop that last push.
Yeah, it's been years since we've seen Soul dominate the lobby. No, I'm joking. It's great. The other guys really hardly tried to throw this game here with running 2 guys into an 8. And yeah,
まあまあまあそれ以外でもできたかもしれない。
A Panzerfaust
いやー
then set up with 5
いい
stun
対
grenades
応
into Molotovs.
返
Apparently
すと思
just
った
a
な。その
secret sauce for
2個目のグレー
recipe for
何の
success
情報もなしに投げちゃったのが
Genji kind of come in
ちょっ
and
と
get this. We saw a little bit of it
1個のクエスチョンマークだったかも俺の。
in the survival stage, and we saw a little bit of it prior, but this is next
で
level.
右
I
走
hope
ってる
they're
人みたいよ多くの。
Well, see, I mean, they got
左か前にいるかどっちか
So this end game absolutely fun to watch as we go back through the highlights and take a look at these big moments. We saw craters everywhere, tough crashes, kills by emergency covers. It was a wild game.
それを探すために車を動かそうとしたら、車降りる側も間違えてたし。
Look at the mini map. Look at how many people are shooting down on it, and we get a couple more people rotated to that spot. It's a mess over here. But there was just
これねマジで むずい。
There was just so little cover to be had around the center that everybody realized that
中央でごちゃごちゃやってたけど穴で入ることはマジでむずい。
Love it or hate it, the change to TPP has changed the way that the game is played strategically. Holding positions is different. You add in the new destructible terrain mark, and everything changes. This felt like it was a game that was all about mastering the new perspective.
これはね、
and also setting out your stall for the finals.
なんか勘違いしてるチームが多かった気がする。真ん中行ってテトラポットと穴でどうにか 耐えたら勝てるかもしれないって多かったけど、それを思ってるチームが3、4チームぐらいいて、で外側のチームが楽になっちゃったっていう。GNG に対するプレッシャーが1個もなかった感じかもしれない。
use of the site, being able to climb up, able to get that smoke cool down, close that gap in towards Kick's position. Yeah, it just was unfortunate for them, but good hold from Gen G. They played it well in the northwest corner, and they picked off team after team.
Here they are, the guys who came away with the win. 3 kills for D. Salute's got 2. Soul goes 4, and despite, I think the joke was the rest of his team trying as hard as they could to throw it, Soul would not allow that matchup. He locked in and played well.
Yeah, I mean, that push around the side, it definitely did feel like MiTH was getting some momentum to him. And, I mean, Martin, you were talking about it. Like, MiTH, whenever they can get into the later stages of the game, are just, they're brutal to deal with. They find ways to make just crazy plays.
Yeah, they're insane. And, of course, 20 points here for Gen G, but MiTH as well, with the way that they've been playing with the BRDMs throughout this year, I've been quite impressed with how brutal they've been able to do it here, Toppy.
I agree. The BRDMs have been sneaky deaky, constantly throwing up here left and right. Though it's not always a sign of success. Made in Thailand found one early on, Mark, and ended up not being able to bring air and land power to bear in order to catch Cowboy and save their man.
No, they exchanged it for the smoke grenade power. It got them in. That BRDM obviously didn't work out for them all the way. They did put the glider down, but there's our MVP. Match number 1, Soul. Good play from him, and as you guys said, he refused to let that game slip through his fingers.
Take a look at the man of the match. Soul, man of the match, man of the century in a lot of ways. He's one of those guys that's been in the conversation for a long time, Martin, about is he the best or one of the best to ever do it. This team has not made the argument really much better for him, but individually, he continues to put up really beautiful plays.
He does. He's one of the most impressive players, and if it wasn't for that kind of stump after Dynamo winning PGC 2023, you would have put him up there as one of the greatest. But that kind of silenced the stir a little bit. Then he had a year where he had to, you know, fully level 4 backpack carry a whole team and still put up numbers. But here he's back. I'm really happy to see him under the banner of Gen G and fragging out, winning games, winning chicken dinners. The only problem for me is that when you look at the team as overall, I'm missing the old Salute to be able to perform at the level that we know he's capable of, albeit it being no longer FPP, where he was an absolute GOAT.
Now, I want to go back to there was that fight. I think it was Virtus Pro on top of Everest, Mark. Absolutely dismantled GAM the Expendables, the team that you were looking at to potentially win this thing.
Yeah, I think it was JDG on the other side. They got kind of a throwaway shot and they put one of them down. But it was VP's vision to go, actually, I know who's there. Let's take the high ground. And then how they played that as well. They kind of set a trap. They went all the way around. It was only for Duck that was able to get out the other side. Duck G found the compound and found safety. But VP, again, their positioning for them was really good. A bit gutted that GAM the Expendables couldn't get in further. They did get a recall after that, but it was just UAVs and additional points to other people. And funny enough, one of those points went back to VP again.
And then match him as the resident Texan. I got to come to you and say, Cowboy smashing Godlike, hurting MiTH. He looked really good in this map.
Woo, Team Liquid. I mean, yeah, they went down a bit early, but in a circle like this, can't fault them. But they found decent points. I give that man links more often. Let him just unload, because he was just like, I'll be your Huckleberry and popping heads everywhere. I don't know what happened on that with Team Liquid, but an early game aggressive Team Liquid finding kills early? Yes, more.
Well, 3 yeses there, 2 games in. Let's get started as we move to the second map of the day. It's the Dusty Dunes, a best of 10 to see who gets to lift the PGS trophy and be remembered forever as the PGS 8 champion. My name's Toppies. I'm here with Avenger. It's time for us to unlock Miramar and see, is it a good circle? Is it a good plane? Let's find out. I thought they should have played by now.
And yes, I mean, I was gonna jump in no matter what. I just wanted to, see this cinematics a little bit before And yeah, we are going to be starting over to the east, flying all the way over to the northwest here, Toffies. And yeah, this is the dynamic duo you're used to seeing on the desk, but we're also dynamic enough to be able to catch some of these games here for PGS, Toffies, so the other guys can catch their breath a little bit so they can absolutely dunk out the next game. And Miramar, one of my favorite maps of all time here, Toffies. This is one of the big ones where rotation matters so much. And map knowledge is key.
Map knowledge, speed of process, how quickly can you get out of your starting area, how quickly can you set up a position that's defensible. This is also one of those maps that if you aren't proactive, the ambush rating is incredibly high. If you move late, if you don't plan correctly, you don't have the right cars, you're just going to get picked off one by one as you move across the map, which I think has really been troublesome for some teams, particularly Myth, in these games so far. Ah, man, Soul would have loved to have found something slightly cooler than a pistol to take that first shot.
Yeah, imagine a scar like Scappy last
Dude,
game. That would be crazy.
Scappy with the scar. What?
Yeah,
is this a new meta, bro?
Oh, okay, GTE. They're contesting here. Doctor's going to drive away. Gotta say, though, also from the interview yesterday, Doctor's English is improving so fast. We had a few talks and chats with him here and there, but becoming so good, man. I'm looking forward to be able to talk to him once we hit the land next time. So far, so forth. They're going to be able to go a little bit towards Alasaha and Gam the Expendables. They're going to have truck stop Alasaha and get all the loot they can there. Difficult circle, though, considering the plane path. We're just edging the plane path, basically, as we take a look at that last match highlights.
So we take a look at the last match. Weird plane, tough circle, unique ending. Let's check in with the coach of VP. I call him Ibiza, some call him E-Pizza, but he's got some interesting things to say.
Everyone, welcome to the interview, and we have Ibiza from Verspro here. Let's say hello to the audience. Hello.
Yo, what's up, guys? Hi.
Okay, like sharing the feeling after yesterday's match, the last game.
Yeah, I mean, in general, yesterday was really stressful for us. We had to play really well in the last game to qualify, and the boys knew that they needed to get at least 10 points. So there was a lot more pressure on them. It was a melee zone. We looked very pure. I was like, nice. The second shift rotated, went all away from us, and Luca just did an amazing scout. I really liked it how we played with confidence that game. Like the way we swapped sides on the circle, it was really amazing. The team play after that was good. Like it was a really well played game by us, so I was really happy, of course.
Yeah, it's like a little bit dramatic in the yesterday's game.
Yeah.
What about today's first match right now, so far? You feel like satisfied with the games, the play style right now?
I feel really satisfied. I mean, we played some high-level PUBG here. We did not get easy zones. We managed to get 9 points. Our reads, our aggression, the way we rotated, the way we team, like. This was a high-level PUBG game, so of course I told the boys I'm really proud. This was a really well-played game by us, and this really shows like how strong we are, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the games.
Yeah, I hope you guys bring us more high-level PUBG games in the future. Okay, see you in games. Bye.
All right, see you later, guys. Bye-bye.
Everything Ibiza does is high-level, top shelf, if you know what I mean. Soul gets a nice play there to get the win. We got a little bit of a replay, and now we jump back to Gen G Bean as they continue their looting here in the Dusty Dunes.
Yeah, and I always love to hear from EB. He's one of those guys that has the utmost respect of every single individual. He's a nice guy. He knows everything about the game. He still plays actively. One of the probably best substitutes you have in a coach, meanwhile, as well, as we do get some rotations in from Petrichor Road as well. And he realizes, and that's the biggest thing, right, is that once you know, okay, this is a game where it's going to be difficult to get points, and you're able to go in and say, guys, you absolutely squeezed and salvaged the most points out of this game possible, so I'm proud of you, keep it up. And that's really been the name of the game, Toughies. These best of fives here, you need to make the most of every single game, right? And sometimes every game goes against you, so you got to maximize.
I'll say I also appreciate and respect, not just as a coach, but as a, you said a lot of people respect him, and it's because he owns his mistakes. He always has. His willingness to sort of step into the coaching role on a team when he realized this is the win condition for these guys, and I can be a part of that. He's always got the team on his mind, and I got to respect that. Even back, you go all the way back to like early Liquid when they would make roster changes because it was right for the team. I felt like it was always a heavy weight, something he took very, very seriously. So I'm glad to see him still working. I'm glad to see him in the scene, looking down on everyone around him. Not, in a mean way, just in a impossible to measure up to a man like Ibiza sort of way. Let's jump over to the VP, his Curexy. This was that buyout. This pickup from FaZe this year was incredible.
Yeah, put Ibiza on the bench and get correction. We've seen some amazing things from him this year. he just plays the most impossible guns and make it look like M4s. Like, he plays the barrel like it's an M4, the sprays, the control that this guy has. He's mechanically extremely gifted. And when he talks, everyone listens because he does not do it often. And it matters what he says. It's crucial and it's on the point information. I love to hear from Correction. He's also really developed as a player and as a human being. It's good to see him and joke around with the team and really kind of loosen up a little bit. And that's been really the name of the game for VP. They have built this synergy after he joined the team that has been unparalleled from any other team here. Over to Falcons though, decent game from them. And the last one here, Toffee's really difficult when you're in the middle and you keep getting zone, and they played it like they were kind of hoping for an edge at one point. But then you have this kind of space where everyone just kind of centers around you, and you don't want to be in the middle of the donut. There's nothing to eat, Toffees. You know that, right?
But I mean, there's nothing here. That is true. What a sad state of affairs. But they got there. They got there through that E pickup, I think it was, and they just sort of it was what was available, and I thought it was a pretty decent spot. Also, you brought up how powerful that shack was that they put Kickstart into in terms of survivability. So, you know, you do with what you got. Let's jump over to a team that's got something nice. It's Soup got themselves the 3RDM as they do a little bit of scouting with it. Anyone's Legend just above them on the hilltops waiting. Panzerfaust is prepped though. Destroy's got or is ready for the Roach if it comes up over the top of this hill. Rut-row, Scrappy.
Yeah. Rough space to get up to here. It might be the saving grace of the deal. Destroy is ready with it. Oh, he's gonna hit him. And no deal for you as Destroy and Emmer's Legends get this one out here. That's possibly going to get another kill here, and Rex as well. Him as finds one. And now Supers is just going to have to completely abandon this mission as Rex and the guys are getting it done here. Destroy also able to steal the BRDM. If they have a repair kit here, they can slowly repair that up and steal that away from them.
That'd be a really good get to pick up the kills as well as steal that BRDM and repair it. So repair kit would be great. Up to the top, we see Himas is the rest of the guys sort of circling around, going to get their loot like scavengers off in the distance. The remainder, Heaven watches and says, I wish I could do something about this. But what can you do? All you can really do is watch the vultures take your man's things.
Oh my God, Heaven just destroyed
take it back.
What?
I take it back. Wow. I mean, I don't know if you can follow up on that. He's looking around for the rest of his crew, being like, all right, what do you guys got anything for me here? But no, they'll still get that res. But what a nice way to say I don't forgive you for what you've done to us. Yeah,
I'm gonna put you to the heavens. Soup. Now with Human and Heaven left here, they're gonna obviously try to figure out if they can do maybe a little bit of rest. We get basically a donut circle here, Toffees. The church where JDG is really good. VP has a good spot. Team Liquid is backfilling into the kind of higher grounds of the brick buildings close to Chomacera here. Petrico Road probably considering, are we going to take the apartments on the lower ground or what are we going to do? Jumping over to Falcons, they're going to come in on the northern side. And they are taking shots towards Twisted Minds here. Tire popped easy. Can Gustav get some more damage done to Lou here? They need him though. As a full foul-man squad from Twisted Mind hits differently compared to when they're down to a 2 or 3 man.
Yeah, I mean, even just taking that tire away is going to annoy the crap out of them, right? Like, that's just a corn on the toe that they've got to deal with as they try to make their next rotation. I do love what you said. JDG's got the Church of Los HD, and they're in a good spot up there. We got DNS running from an angry Geeke without a tire. He's already lost it, and he's now trying to just play the escape as they are putting everything they have into blowing that car up.
You know, like, so just, they're just chasing. It feels like they know that this is Soup. They know that they can hurt them even more. Cars burning, smoking as well. Akan is considering what's gonna be done here. Now EJ close to him as. I'm not sure if he's aware of his position here. Him has got a really good off angle with a good ridge to work with. Akan kind of on the other side as well. Both are in cars. Looks like they're considering how and where are we gonna approach this circle from, as it is currently just on the edge of the circle and south of Picado.
He got really invested in that chase and sort of lost track of what was around him. Let's see if Himas does surprise. The attack Mean, however, over on the other side of the map is going to go ahead and make a move on Myth. Everyone playing a little bit of car bingo here as Bean gets the peak, goes through, pops up to the top, and it's D that ultimately gets that first knock on Kiss that opens the door for them to make a move here on Myth.
Really been impressed with Gen G, how they've been you know, developing as a team here. Baron though turns around and gets sold down. That's gonna be a pull up from the other guys here. Can he do something about it? Gets another one. D continues, but Baron got salute as well. The two biggest names, arguably, that's active on the scene currently in Korea. And they got the flush as well. They're probably gonna be able to get the rest to Jacob down as well. Bean continues the fiesta between MiTH and Gen G.
Oh, Bean and D doing pretty well here as you got Bean in the dip, Scappy off in the distance, got that nades and see if he can put in some work. Lyric's trying to steal a little bit of a kill away here if they can't rescue their man. Scappy forced to the low ground, would love the soul flush if he can get it, but Bean looks like he might be on his way to provide some help. Surely they can't get to soul in time. Scappy has to be going for this flush. Yeah, they're not even close.
They're far away. They've got a really good high ground as well here. It's going to be fine for them. I think it's just a matter of setting off a potential hold. Scabby got soul here, actually. Scabby's really trying to make a mess, but Genji's just going to send it towards Scabby and get the kill on him. He's rotating around, but they are in the cars looking for another drive-by opportunity here. Eastern shift, though, and now Genji has to consider we're going to try to go for a rest on the southern side of the station that's still within our reach.
小さとマインズも真ん中に寄せて3組ができちゃう真ん中境界も強い VP が開けたとこ小さとマインズが開けたとこ
and make some moves. Sandstorm going to come in, get Godlike a little bit of cover as they rotate away. It will also probably save Scappy, as Scappy was riding backwards on one tire into Godlike, and then the storm hit.
Yeah, and now he's going to be able to hide for just a little bit. Godlike is also going to be like, no point staying here when there's a storm like that. GG obviously trying to recoup what have been lost. And VP now tries to set up. They are in the south side rainbow compound here. And now with 17 on the other side of the road, this is dead center though, Toughies. They're going to try to defend this with their lives. It's a very breachable compound on multiple sides, but so many teams from the high grounds around them usually take a look at this. Falcons on the edge, again, not catching too much of a circle, but able to play on this northwestern side. Got a lot of information ahead, looking at the compound, considering should we take this concrete building as is kind of open over here, or should just stay on the edges here. Now, Godlike inside Chumasera, taking a lot of shots here from APG. A little bit rough for them. They're probably going to disengage from this and just take another angle. That's unfortunate.
But they're not even in the circle. I don't understand why they wouldn't have just kept going to the north and pushed this rotation. Like looking down into Chumasera, like you can't drop off that without getting yourself stuck in a city fight. Like there's just nothing there. So I'm interested to see what they're choosing to do as they back away. Nade's coming flying from below, and Godlike has to pull back off the crest edge, jump in the car, and try to make themselves relocate. I think they were just doing some scouting, and it seems like that scouting did not go the way that was planned. I just wanted to look, guys. I was just taking a peek. That's Godlike in a nutshell right now. All right, so they do continue on their north rotation. They'll try to move around, and they're going to actually crash into Liquid if they hit this spot. This could be their undoing. The Americas finds the Americas. Godlike now knows they're there. Alo's got the roof. Godlike tries to go on by and get out of there. Going for a nice peek. They do tag Alo, which ducks him back behind the air conditioning unit. Purdy opens fire, though. They were prepared, but he's out and revealed. Got that ghillie suit, throws a couple of nades, couple of flashes, but now it's a 2v3 for just a minute.
Whoa. That's so unfortunate. That's going to be a push from Cowboy. Famis in hand. LFP turns around, though. He gets them. Purdy Curdy now has to commit more utility to this fight here. He finds Tony. Alo off to the off angle. Gets the flush onto Haven as well. Takes tons of damage, too. More shots comes in from LFP here. And Team Liquid is under immense pressure. They're out. They get third party by Dogma here. And APG is coming in for this party, too.
APG is vicious as they see the chance to go for the third party and take the school, and in they do come. Simon T up here in this position. They also know that a lot of the flushes haven't been got yet, so this is a good chance for them to come in and see if they can't try to finish off Godlike, as Godlike continues to limp with one player knocked and only two left, heavily injured.
Simon kind of going off to all the sides here, and also JDD just flexing out of the church. Third party. This shot comes towards APG here now under so much pressure now. This is rough for them outside the circle. Smart play by JDD. They could be the gatekeeper of this new circle. Simon T finds gold. Fana finds power though, and APG is fighting on multiple fronts here, Toughies.
APG surrounded on all sides as the fight goes on. This is great news for Godlike, who just barely got to have somebody take the attention away. Here goes the 1v1. This was the man who hurt Liquid so badly. Simon T gets the freeze fire. He tries to go for it. He keeps hold that trigger down and actually gets the knock on LFP. He's done. Simon finishes the flush, and that will be down to one player. Tycon sliding around the side, trying to see if they can get Fauna out of the building. Fauna had a decent day yesterday, has the M249, but the problem is none of these guys can go anywhere. JDG is in prime gatekeep, so even if you win this, you still have to face off against them later. Nice throw.
Tilts are being committed, yeah. Tycon, the goat of old, now grown up and now looking to claim more prize pool, more PGS points is coming in here now. Great flush here. More stun grenades get committed here. That's a great flush. Oh my God, he gets them in. Godlike is just going to get completely destroyed here with that off angle from Tycon. Extremely well played here. And great AUG play. Now they have to fight JDD or try to get out of dodge with some rotations here. Dogma has full information on the ridges. And now they can get into another situation where they either have to fight or flee.
All right, off they go, and I will forever wonder if that Liquid fight would have gone differently if Alo had gone for the kill instead of the flush. But, you know, life is as his life was. Hong F gets a nice knock on I26V6 there as Petrichor is tucked into a very precarious position. I suppose it could become something valuable in a little while, but right now it just feels very exposed to damn the Expendables as they sort of move in this direction.
So we'll see now as well. Falcons really trying to hold off this with the 2-2 split. I love that they're trying to hold on this complete northern side here. APG trying to get into the back of it, and now they're probably just going to go over to the other guys that has already claimed the concrete that they scouted for free earlier. Chan explodes himself with a mortar. You have to make sure that that's not happening. Oh, Kickstart with a great headshot. Just Tickleton we saw, but Tig is going to be able to confirm it. Great shots coming in from both of these guys here. Lots of damage done.
Tig, you take the car so that they can't drive away in case I miss this shot. Dink, never mind. Beautiful play as they're going to jump in and drive off. They get to collapse on their friends with a kill in their pocket. Falcons is playing, I think, very cleanly today so far. They got caught in a tough situation last time. Another good one here. But here comes E Arena. They find a spot, but Chewy is in the shack with a Panzerfaust. This was built for this moment.
He's committing a lot of util here. That's a mortar. That's one nade. He has 3 more in the pocket. Oh, that's close. 30 damage to all 3 of them almost. And now with the southern shift, a lot of the teams are going to have to come into the rainbow compounds here on both sides of the road. The 17 and VP, the orange team, the yoke of this circle.
They were broken a little earlier with that mortar, but they got Tian back up. Meanwhile, you got Pathompong puts Bean down. Gen G has been on the hustle for a minute. Oh, nice nade, very close, and it's going to force Chewy out of the shack because he knows what they're shooting for. It's a good idea. Get out while they blow their utility. Not one has made it through E Arena. Come on. I'm not saying it would have done anything, but at least you can get through the window.
Yeah, they're trying to at least one more blue zone being committed in this direction here. It's going to be landing basically just on top of Opons. He has a FAMAS as well in hand, and now he has to relocate. As you see the replay here with the godlike Team Liquid JDD APG fight that happened in school. Someone got lectured. Mostly Team Liquid was on the receiving end.
Go back to Arena. What? Petrichor Chewy pulls out the M249 and goes 1, 2, 3 against E Arena and then gets the flushes, but he does ultimately go down to Pathompong in the distance. But you gotta see that Pathompong, but still 3 kills with the M249 after all the utility they threw at him is impressive.
Yeah, that's what happened with the mortar there. Chan, as you jump back to the actual live action, that was the only one I was really interested about. Is Chan, he shot that mortar at the tree. But now we're on to the other side here. Back to actual live action with Pathompong on the southern side here. That's a little bit unfortunate with Chewy completely destroying them. JDD considering how we're going to play this. If this circle goes away from us, we're going to have to make a crash, and they could crash either VP or into Xiao Wu's dip there. He's holding on to a split here. I like that. But Park Pro and Geeky now trying to approach Petrichor Road. That did a big send. Big nade here. If he puts that in the pocket, Toffee, that's going to do tons of damage.
I thought he had it. They're going to counter throw immediately. More coming in. It's a nice little hole. There's the bounce. Boom goes the dynamite. Down goes Petrichor. And Petra wish they had some more, but it will be the end of them. The second grenade also on target as Akon's going to try to get some smokes out and maybe get his man res. Anyone's Legend not letting that interested in letting that happen as they're going to follow that mortar in. It's attack time. Park Pro ducks into the Smoke trying to get a little bit of cover. EJ from the high ground gets that knock on Sololzi. They get the flush right away, and the fight is in full steam. ParkPro gets the nade set up, wants to throw it forwards, got to try to hold this position.
Everyone just looking at NMSS Legend trying to backfill this, but now more nades being committed. Destroy gets ParkPro and multiple. Oh my god, DK's out in 10th place here. Third party from GTE and absolutely destroyed from both sides, and NMSS Legend's out in 9th place now. We're up to the top 8 here, and placement points gets distributed, one each for the surviving team. And with this next shift here, we do end up going towards that compound that 17 is close to. VP also holding onto the other side. Falcons have backfilled into the northern side, and great third-party opportunity from both GTE and Falcons.
Yeah, absolutely. Big third party. In fact, almost that south side JDG is going to be able to play the ridge line above VP. There's a lot of spots where teams can move in. I think Twisted Minds is going to have the biggest onus here. They don't have a lot of options for how to make it into this circle without incredibly open sight lines to just about everybody as they cross. There's nothing there, man.
That's so smart, yeah. It's a multi-play for a setup here. They're going to have to make holds. They're going to have to put pressure onto where Xiao Wu is. Otherwise, it's going to be really, really difficult. Actually taking shots towards Falcons here, so it's more of an offensive choice rather than trying to make it as a defensive play where they can go into it. Still, lots of damage done, though, on Shrimpsy, though. 48 connects. And now with this setup here, they can see it's just more of a spread shot rather than just completely connecting it onto any of the Falcons guys. And now they have playable space. Actually hits Shrimpsy, though.
That opens the door. How many do you have? He's got 3 more. They're just throwing full scatter shot pepper spray. They're hoping they can get one more knock, and if nothing else, it opens a terraforming opportunity for them to push to. That keeps coming. They're digging holes left and right. They want to try to get the rescue on Shrimsy, but they can't safely collapse because the mortars keep coming. And now the nades to follow. Look at that bounce right there, very close. Opens the door again as Twisted Minds continues to put the work in, and Shrimsy is ultimately flushed at the cost of about 12 mortars.
Yeah, and I can tell you right now, I know these guys, and they're gonna be like, how many more does he have? And it continues to rain hell upon them. And this is gonna make a great opportunity for Twisted Minds to actually get in. Kickstart finds Perfectix, though. Their approach is gonna be denied. Alpha Gaming on a lot of pressure as well. JDD completely defended this line here from the southwest side. Extremely well played by them, but they have to make a big move too. There's Twisted Minds and JDD, E-Arena, and GT is gonna have to make moves into this circle as Falcons, 17 and VP still inside, though. Nixie finds a kill.
Yeah, JDG actually has been in that fight with Alpha for a minute, and then VP started to come over to try to steal those kills or those knocks off of JDG, but they finished the fight fast enough that you saw VP turn back around and go to their compound to just hold. Falcons at 3 right now. They did get a box to take care of them, and more mortars going to be coming in. No one there, though, right now, so it's just a little bit of is that a prep mortar for sending this? Okay.
Like a bit of a prep
the offensive mortars. We call those defensive mortars, I guess, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Set it up for some more space here. Nixie finds Pathampong. Clorish, though, punishes this push out from Nixie. That's potentially going to be a flush as well. More shots comes in as defensive measures from VP is being deployed here. And now Twisted Minds is making a play to get in closer to Falcons and 17. Both sides of the road still being extremely proactive. But with this next shift here, we are going to go to the probably western side, it looks like, for 17 Gaming.
Wow. That's a great shift for 17. They get to sit back and laugh in 17 style. Miramar 17 and catching circles. Name a better duo. As Twisted Minds tries to find their way across here, they got a good smoke wall up, but not a lot of cover. Falcons also out has to decide, we need to figure out how to get away from this Twisted Minds situation so we can force ourselves into this circle somehow. Expendables also dealing with the same issue off on the east side of the map. I don't really know how either of these teams get in. The only hope is that multiple teams crash 17 at the same time.
Great coming in.
And a box.
Just going to be somewhere in the middle of nowhere where maybe with a smoke you can play it, but still, that's just one box. Imagine if you have a few creators and some Doritos to play. That's going to be way, way more important. But now with Falcons, they're going to have to make an approach and potentially pull up or third party the GT push from 17's compound here. So let's see what happens. They get closer. They're still not inside this circle here. They're gonna have to make some sort of a move, and Twisted Minds is now opening up this move here where they're actually gonna cross the road and get into playable space with a few smokes and a car. Toughies. Well played by them.
Very much so. Taking to harass them, but also worth noting the Operation Saving Private NIXI was a success. They went out, got him, and brought him back. So the second he got knocked, you saw the whole team respond in speed to try to get him back up. So VP back at full strength inside the circle.
使えるんじゃない
Crates here and there with 1 or 2 nades. Shawu is on this tree here. I don't think they've realized, Toffees. This is crucial. Let's listen to what Falcons has to say and how they're going to be approaching this as we jump onto the team comms.
I'm gonna play this on foot, guys. Can you hold the double white?
Me too. You guys can play it on foot.
Driving through the smokes.
They're playing slow as well.
They're
playing slow as well. They're not
I'm nading that. I'm nading T.
Blue
No one's
exact.
peeking me from the double white, bro.
They're there. They're there. They're a
I
big team.
understand. It's just
Okay.
like
One's playing backside.
I knocked
Good job,
one.
guys.
There's one standing. He's
Upstairs,
peeking.
One standing, I think.
Okay, I'm peeking with the. Really low in the double. Really low in the double. Left or right window. I'm on HP. Left.
うわきつい
Denying's not bad. NT, yes. NT. TWIS just has God reach.
That is the end for them. You heard the nice try. They got a couple of knocks there, but Twisted has God reach, as you heard Tiggleton say at the very ending of that. They knew how to hit those nades. They knew how to put them out of play. And Twisted Minds, for having one of the worst spots when that circle shifted twice ago, Martin, they are still 4 alive and pushing their way in.
Yeah, but mission successful. They knew that their win condition was to get GT out, and they needed the points and the kills from them. They were successful with that, but 17, perfect hold with a little bit of help for Twisted Minds to line down into the smokes. Just 2 or 3 guys spray into that, and it's impossible. Shawu's ridge here is going to be an absolute bloodbath for anyone trying to get close here. Shots comes into Batulins, and Shawu finds him. Now they realize he's on the tree. He's going to deploy all his utility. He has 1 nade in hand. That's going to be an easy flush, potentially. More damage done as well. I don't really see them trying to get him more out. And Shawu disengaging with this one here. Lil Ghost confirming the kill.
NIXI actually flexing out. VP playing very aggressively on the berm of the road. They've taken up half the circle at this point. Gonna look for a little bit of action. Beamy gets that knock on Lou. That's big. Xiaowu has to fall back. You got the cars coming in. No! Perfectix takes that example and says only one of us can be MVP. As he does looks around. Puts them on top of each other. Beamy gets the triple.
Big name here for VP now. 17 can focus on trying to win this game. It's going to be difficult. VP's had a lot of time to set up defense and set up some aggression on this road. And I really love these endings here where we do end up ending on the actual road, but it's a little bit beneficial to 17's side. I'm not sure if they have enough utility to spend to get this done here, as we see Winbo with the M249 in hand here, the bullet hose to try and get in and get some damage done here. Look at the setup. Beamy's in a decent dip here. Correxi's got even closer to the road here. He's going to have a great angle with the ace and the bold action.
You know, for bolt action for the late. This is a great time for a bolty. I love that they dug up as close as they possibly could. Lil Ghost going to be here on the fringe trying to watch the crossover position. Both teams waiting. That Corexi spot actually could be a real clincher because he is officially the closest person to the dot right now with how he's dug in. So that might buy them a little bit of space as the rest of the VP players can try to push. It looks like they're stacking right. Maybe try to push a flank around here to call him out. I don't know. Xiaowu also trying to dig closer. He's trying to see if he can find a better spot by the circle. Everyone's seeing just what are the physics of digging around the road as everyone discovers it at the same time.
Yeah. How far can I go? How deep can I how close can I get? You can see here now Winbo's discovering that he cannot get deeper and closer. Once this kind of little bit of a wider dirt hits, that's where the destructible terrain becomes unavailable. Same thing is around all the houses and some of the other big buildings as well. You cannot dig anywhere, but once you realize how close you can actually get to this road here, it looks like Corexi has by far the closest spot, but they do have utility in hand here. I'd like to load the total utility. That'd be cool to see on each team, but I'll get a 60% winner chicken dinner from 17, which I will completely ignore because that's not nowhere close to being what's true. Lil Ghost gets close, Toffees.
As this fight lines up, I kind of would love to hear VP comms as they prep for this fight. They're going. NIXI in the middle on the dot. Can't see anything.
修正する方に弾を打つだけ
I'm nading soon. I'm nading now.
Have any more hit him?
I'm playing right side video.
Circles closing. The intensity of this moment. No information. You heard that. No visual. No information. The fight breaks out. 17 is right in the middle. They're stacked up. Charging around the car.
Oh,
One
마지까.
play. 17 decides the circle's not big enough for humans. It definitely can't fit a car. They just drive through and knock them out. We can watch the replay later from the high when we get to the highlights because I want to see that from the above look. But man, in the moment, in that intensity, going to VP's comms and seeing just how little you can take away from getting up there is wild. Let's get Mark and Max back in here. Mark, that was a chess match of an endgame.
Yeah, obviously.
いやまさかね車がガッていったらもう一人引いてで降りて間ね挟んだっていう先にノックしたのはシーチなんだけどね。
Yeah, and just to be clear, that was, I called for the cons because I wanted to see an end game from the player's perspective at that point. Because what I saw when we watched the Falcons, Matt, was just how difficult it was to sort of deal with those fights, with how much smoke, how many flashes was going on at every given moment. And it seemed like for VP, there was so hard to gather information as they pushed the top of that road.
I mean, it's essentially a frame rate war because there's so much smoke down, there's no vision. You're just having to go off of sound cues, right? And you saw that that's kind of one of the reasons why VP was like bundled up next to each other. They were going with the wolf pack mindset to try to catch people as they pushed through the smoke and they hurt anything. And that's what opened up the genius on the other side is if everybody stacks up together in a tiny circle, well, a car can just boop everybody out of it, eat a whole bunch of damage from the bumper and from the blue zone, and it can turn a game real fast. That's why 17 was laughing at the end because that strategy actually ended up working pretty well.
It did, and I think that was it, is they were so surprised that it did. They're like, we don't know what else to do in this situation. Let's just throw everything we got at it, tires and lead all together. A wild match, a lot of positioning battles, Martin, and it came down to sort of who planned best for the next shift.
Yeah, it definitely was, and especially when you have this kind of two sides of the road on north and south, when that works out like it did, VP just has so much time to set up and just get as many kills as possible. But 17 had to defend from Falcons, from Twisted Mind. They had to come out and use some mortars. And hey, I mean, you knock yourself with a mortar on a tree, and then you end up laughing so much that you almost die from running a car into the last circle. Having a car that late on a road like that is just incredible. I love that play. And Tianchan was just losing and head in when they won.
Who would have thought? Like, yeah, okay, we get a center dot right on top of a road. We talk about how hard it is to deal with because there's no cover, because roads are entirely open, blah, 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 blah. 17, like 500 IQ play. It's a road. Let's use a car.
Unique. All
right, here's the final fight. Let's watch it from the other perspective. You saw Xiaowu goes up there, the spray down. This is from 17 side as the car comes in and gets absolutely lambasted. So it was nice play. Xiaowu coming up there, getting those opening double knocks on the side flanks. So the VP players assigned to the side that opened the door for the car to put everything else out. 17 gets the win. They got the circles. They got a good spot to start with, Martin. But at the end of the day, once you get a spot, you hope for the circs, and it sure worked out for them.
Yeah, I mean, this is somewhat hope to have circle for 17 games, right? So they were able to work it out. But also, sure, it's just 6 kills here, but the damage done and everything that they're able to do, everything happened around them. And we had that compound on the northern side. It's in a little bit of a lower dip where ridges around you are so tall that you're not going to be able to get more out of it. Chan getting the man of the match here for the basically drive into people and push them out of the circle play where he lost his mind. I'm fine with that, but just for this game.
Sorry.
It's a weird opportunity position while we Toffee's catch his breath there because I agree. The car only really works in that one scenario, and I hope it's not something that suddenly we're going to be seeing a lot of because I don't think it'll work too often. I get flashbacks to PNCs and people going for crazy drives into the blue zone to try to take somebody out at the end. So don't get too ambitious with the cars there.
Yeah, how much of that damage on Tian's man of the match was done by his mortar to his face? I don't remember. It's nice though to knock yourself out like that and then make it to man of the match. 17 walks away with 16 total points. VP fought hard and got themselves 14. Twisted Minds and Falcons. I mean, look at that. 17 Virtus Pro, Twisted Mind, Falcons. What year is this, Martin?
Yeah, we're straight back to the prime year of PUBG. We're up to 27 points though. After just 2 matches, you can see he's really lining up already with a 3-way tie for Petrichor Road, Virtus Pro, and Gen G. I like that. That's beautiful.
No, that is beautiful. Now we're 2 games down, 10 games to play, Mark. So it's still not, anyone's Legends got 6, but it doesn't really matter at this point. What does matter, though, is some of our top teams seem like they are consistently in these first 2 finding spots even when they don't have them.
Yeah, it's about the point averages now. You've got to grind out the rest of it.
セーブゾーンの出方が1個のチームと、セーブゾーンの出方もそうだけど、他のチームの動き方で1個のチームががっつりポイント取るような形になってる。
Using the car on the road, arguably that's the right place. But it's that mid pack, it's really tight. Falcons, Twisted Minds can also look for the climb. Again, even potentially a Team Liquid. A bit disappointed they went for the flush. I get he wanted the point, maybe take the fight. I think there's a lot of questions to be had around that one, but it's from his perspective, so loads to play for.
Also, that push, it was a very difficult game for Twisted Minds coming across the road, managing to get kills, getting some self-knocks. Total chaos, but they got the point, so let's check in with Example from Twisted Minds as he chats with Yinxie over on the stage.
Hello everyone, welcome to the interview. We have Example with us here.
Hello everyone.
Yeah.
Hello.
It's like a little bit chaotic in the Miramar game, and you're crushed by your teammates. What happened?
I mean, we just out of smokes, and we had no choice like to try to kill compound, and yeah, it's just was unlucky.
Because you didn't have like, you have chance to get some to earn some like trade point. What's comps like, and if everything goes smoothly, what will be the comps like, or what will be the strategy like?
I mean, everything was good, but we're just out of util, so we had like 0 smokes, 1 grenade, and you can't do anything with that.
Will that affect your like mindset for today's game, for the following games?
Just take our games and grab some points.
Okay, hope you guys can cheer up. Let's see you in the games. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Welcome to our interview, and we're glad to have LFE and Haven with us here.
Hello.
Yeah, like for viewers who might not know much about Godlike, like if someone is watching Godlike for the very first time, how would you describe your team?
Para mim, nós somos time muito agressivo, que entende bastante bem o game, que a gente tem uma leitura bem boa do que acontece em volta de nós, o que está acontecendo no game em si. E para mim é isso que descreveria nós. Somos time inteligente e agressivo.
And as a new roster, what's been the biggest challenge for you guys to build in a chemistry together?
Para mim foi adaptar a rotina de jogar em si, porque nesse meio tempo eu estava trabalhando e para mim estava bastante difícil conciliar o time comigo, mas a gente conseguiu fazer jeito com que isso se tornou realidade e hoje estamos aqui.
But now you're like starting from the survival stage again. What feels different this time?
O que vai fazer a gente jogar bem melhor dessa vez foi que a gente sentou, teve uma conversa ali, vou falar o termo que a gente usou, né? O pau quebrou, a gente foi lá, viu o erro de cada um por bastante tempo e viu como que a gente vai fazer para passar e não cometer os mesmos erros.
If your team had its own slogan, what would it be?
For us, each match is a new match. It's the start of the tournament. Like if you are on the top or in the middle of the bottom of the scoreboard, that no matter. For us, it's a 0-0. That's how we think about the game and how we play. We are confident. We are a confident team. We can do that. We can go to the finals, and that's how we will prove ourselves. Because you are a new team here, new host, so you come here to prove how you play, how you can play, and we go to the finals.
7 games, bye.
Bye, guys.
got next.
2 games down and 8 to go. We're coming to you live from Shanghai, China, where PGS 8's final is in full swing. And so far, the teams at the top have been the repeat offenders, teams that you know, that we know, that we've seen in the scene for a long time. But there are some underdogs, some sluggers who've turned up and put in some numbers here in the early games and are hoping to turn it back around as we move into the next 8. 2 days to play, 10 games to make the statement. 4 guys who get to raise the trophy. My name's TWIS. I'm joined by Matchroom, Avenger, and Mark Power, as we break down all of the action. Miramar was a cluster, right, Matt?
I mean, Aaron Gill kind of was too. Our games today have kind of led us into these more open sections of the map where people just got to make some magic happen in the weirdest of situations. A little bit of circle luck for one side of it with 17, but remember, they technically, 17 also had the center of what would have been the last game, except for the fact that 16 teams ran up on them. So whenever we looked at Aaron Gill, it's just been, I think, like what you're talking about, a little bit of repeat offenders, but also some squads trying to find something big for themselves. Team Liquid trying to get some momentum off some interesting plays in the first game, led to a little bit of dicier 3-squad, I guess, crunch onto them inside this last game. It's weird, as a lot of teams are just looking to exploit any small misplays.
You know, Martin, in the era where I think it's undeniable that the randomness has been ticked up a bit, it seems like running high percentage scenarios of catching circles, sending mids seems to be sort of the new win condition. I feel like a lot of teams are embracing that.
Yeah, pre-drives are so important here. And explosions and utility has been the name of the game. The amount of mortars we saw on Twisted Mind was insane. But I think we're ready to take over, TWIS.
It's time to Tego. Game 3 of 10 is about to kick off as we send it over to the plane in the air. 64 players ready to drop and only 1 trophy to claim at the end of this. Let's send over to our casters. It's Mark and Matchroom with the call.
Explosions everywhere going into our games because it has been just an explosive series. As call me Mr. Torg, I'm all about it.
I'm with you. Agent of Chaos, I think you will refer to. It's a northeast down towards a south-south central. It will divide Tego in half, but equally, we shouldn't get too many hot drops as he does double check the map, or the projected map. I think Gen G will be a question. They'll be neighbouring quite close, and everyone else should be neighbouring. So it's all going to come down to where does this zone go?
You know, I kind of want to give a shout out to Falcons.
めっちゃいい感じだね。
We've been jumping in on some of their firefights that haven't gone the best. But they are presently holding down 5th place, so it feels like we're kind of just jumping in at the bad moment for them. Presently tied up now with Twisted, JD Gaming just a little bit back behind them. So Falcons just trying to find some level of consistency inside of the chaos, and it's kind of working so far. The standout to me has been, I guess, a more complete Gen G. Whenever we look at Gen G and how they've been playing, sometimes it's been a little bit separated as the circle does pop, and it's pretty much centered onto 17 yet again.
Let's wait and see. 17 right in the middle. Now we know what they could do with the circle last time. Actually, they went for early rotation. And PK has down the expendables. Glory's out. He only had a grenade, and unfortunately, he dropped it at his feet as the final blow. So it's really not kicked off for Gam the expendables as I hoped it would. Coming through from that survival stage, and for GK, okay, to try and find one more. As I said, it's rotate the hell out of Song out.
Look, as a Gam the Expendables enjoyer myself, you just got to take it in rows, right? They'll get 2 games, only 3 points between each game on an average, and then they'll find themselves like a 30-point game. You gotta. There's certain teams like VP that are all about consistency and finding points per game, and in bad situations finding the kill. And then there's teams like the Expendables that are like go big or go home. We're either gonna get everything in this game or we get nothing. Is man, Tian. We gonna watch this again?
Yeah, we
Poor
are.
Tian.
He's not going to be able to get it done. I've got this guy. Don't worry, guys. Okay, I need some help. I need a res.
Oh, we're going to remix it too. Oh.
The first one was a blip. It was a matrix. It didn't happen. Tian said so. That mortar fire did hit, though, so he lined up perfectly. The tree was in the way. That's all, man.
I mean, those trees can be a little bit of a... I'm not going to pretend like I haven't almost hit one before. I've never actually blown myself up on a tree. I at least have casted enough PUBG that I just knew to glance for it because I asked Tig for tips on it before I started trying to really figure it out. But I have gotten a little bit closer than I was expecting a few times.
It's the triangle. It's maths. Love it.
It's a parabola. It's not a triangle.
All facts. One fact, to be sure, though, 17 Gaming, like VP, were the early adopters taking this compound, and lucky enough for them, they found themselves in a late game. Jawu was not seen, and we saw him early on again digging this trench. So Victorian does go down as he gets his hand caught in the cookie jar.
We're seeing a lot of these like little small solo plays coming up from teams, right? Like putting somebody in a little bit of an odd spot, and you would assume that normally the normal system for 17 was just to try to keep everybody together inside the compound. Kind of putting somebody off on this more side angle really opens up a lot of opportunities for these teams. That was a stylish ending. That's all I can say about it.
I wouldn't have thought about getting back in the car. That was in the blue. The car was gone for me at that point. Well played. Tian showed us why he's a pro, and I'm sitting here as a caster.
Eyes onto the circle. We've got VP that's playing more along the coast into the west. They're trying to see how much of the circle they can kind of chomp down on. The 17, again, going to regroup pretty close to the center dot. Twisted's going to be getting pretty close to them off into the east. Team Liquid as well as Petrichor Road going to be playing to the southwest and south directly. While Godlike's going to be encroaching yet again onto Team Liquid as these guys have a pretty similar idea on how to approach into the circle. See how Godlike kind of commits more.
How's
if
safety?
They head into it, get a little nervous.
Yeah, a bit nervous. Do you know what I like? Team Liquid's position. I'm just a bit concerned here, Matt, with that 2-2 split if they try and hold out. Because this compound, especially from that sort of southeast side, they can get caught out quite a bit. And obviously, looks like a DBS maybe not being picked up in this early game.
Maybe not being picked up. I'll say definitely not. Later stage. Like whenever you get a DBS inside of a crate when you're on this map and like, I don't know, circle 6, maybe 7. Sometimes players will pick it up as the just in case we end up in the smoke wall firefight. Early stages, our players often like, they just don't like shotguns, man. And I understand why, because every single time I put shotgun right on somebody's head, somehow the pellets go all the places they need to not.
It's early game. That's all. It's early game. If that was late game, it's a different matter. Yeah, especially with that last circle we saw. Everyone else on that rotation, as we mentioned, anyone's legend is going in between that kind of Team Liquid, and they've opted also to collapse that 2-2 split. So again, that compound, this sort of south one, very easy to sort of breach. I love that we're seeing these guys play away from it and move back to more of a tighter formation. So we'll go out towards the right fields. Godlike obviously moving on that south side, Petrichor on the other side of that. We've still got a lot of teams on the outside edge. E-Arena need to come in, Gamnic Spindles need to come in after the early engagement with Geek on the south. Both those teams are in the southwest. GK, despite getting the kill, they didn't go west. They actually disengaged and went back across towards the east. So they're in hospital and they're going to work their way in, but they will be working their way in, Matt, behind Gen G. Gen G go up towards Baksang Sa, and they've not moved much from there either. So potentially we might see them hold the outside.
I'm a bit nervous. So with this 2-2 reposition coming up from Team Liquid, they've gone more north so that way they can kind of play both sides of the center, because the center is kind of a fieldish area. That does mean that Supers are now going to be directly on top of them. Supers did see that rotate and saw 2 vehicles come in, so doesn't exactly have an idea on how many numbers it is. But usually we see 2-2 splits try to support each other the best they can. And that's one of the things that you're aiming for, right? Is some level of territory control between the two. Shots now going on to Supers with Team Liquid can kind of support each other across the field, but they can't control each other. They can't support each other really from the hills back behind. If you see somebody crest up to the southeast of Team Liquid, that area that you were talking about is a precarious position for them. The other players can take shots on from any enemies that are moving down on them from the hillside, but there's no real territory control for their backs on either position, because the Northwest has that same vulnerability to where we presently see Supers playing for the northern section duo for Team Liquid.
Yeah, look, I love this position Supers are playing. I think they're trying to work out how many people are in the compound. It seems like they haven't made the call that it's just 2. So for Team Liquid, it has helped. Cowboy has disengaged, so they've gone for a kind of a 2-1-1 as Cowboy is looking to isolate Deal, I believe, for Supers, as obviously we saw them up on that hillside. Here he is, yes. Cowboy has moved away. My logic is Ezekiel here as well, so he's going to try and sneak in and over. Both Luke He's also keeping eyes on him. Alo watching towards that north, making sure a crash isn't coming from Supers from the hillside. So I like this level of Team Liquid. It's a level of aggression we don't always see.
It's a very smart early game play. Got to be careful. VP could get a couple of peeks on this, depending on how their angles are set up. But I don't think that they have vision on it. VP's mostly caught up looking at everything on the outside and the rotates that are going on from Supers. So Cowboy playing patient. The only reason he can really do this is due to the positioning for Kurt back behind him. So Luke's going to take a couple of shots. That's going to open up for Cowboy. Knows exactly where he's going.
Nice.
Easy pickup. Nice stealth play.
Yeah, and that's all down to comms. That's all down to the communication. The guys are going through and going, hey, do you know what? We need to make an aggressive play here. Purdy obviously on the hold. He knows that I can hold this compound. Now the big decision with the zone shifting back towards the water in the northwest. What does Team Liquid do? Purdy Cody's going to hear these cars coming from anyone's legend. Does he cut tail and go back? It looks like Cowboy's back in his vehicle, going to provide some support for him. So they look like they're going to hold a 2-2 still.
Ooh, nice defense from 17. 2 players for Twisted already down. Twisted trying to go for the more central position in terminal. So that's going to open up anyone's legend to wrap just to the west of this. And Batulin's now going to go down as well. Just one Twisted player alive in Lou, and he's kind of in the meat grinder right now because he's got Pechkora Road, Alpha, and that Team Liquid split all around him, and just a shack for safety.
I thought Batulin's was going to outmaster them. Sit in the car, nothing to see here. I've already run into the building. Doesn't quite get away. 17 Gaming on the defensive. We know they like to hold position, and they held it well. They got the last game. Match number 2 was for 17 Gaming, looking to try and drive a back-to-back at the moment. Other teams crashed their way in. VP in the market. Anyone's legend has crashed on that south side as well. So Myth in that northeast corner. So they have to try and deal with these one at a time.
You know, VP being more of the roaming defenders right now, and they've got high ground angles that I don't know if anyone's legend is going to be expecting. It's a little tricksy spot coming up from Beamy. Scappy just kind of really fortifying their position. They're fine with where they're at, and that is going to be Nixie that spots out Delwyn. Quick flush, easy pickups is now anyone's legend realizing exactly how precarious this position is to be played. On the outside of this, Falcon's going to be bumping into Geekay. Looks like one of the players down before the Falcon's in. EJ has a goal, man. That Panzerfaust roaming large after the BRD. He's going to make some contact. Songjung on the other side. Gustav just going to be trying to limp around, trying to get back over next to the other Falcons players as Kickstarts coming down for some support. And EJ is going to be able to take down Gustav.
Well played for Gustav. He saw the first Panzer, but this is a bit more of a destruction derby, not battleground. Strimsy works his way around towards this north side here. Obviously, Gustav is down, so they're going to go for that reposition. Back on the other side of things, so long as he is down for anyone's legend, and they're looking to try and take advantage of the knock they've got on VP. And we get an opportunity to look back at the replay. Wimbo with a 1-2 perfectix and example full, and it's disappointing for the lads.
So looking at the circle, Terminal, of course, kind of popping off right now where we've got 17 as well as anyone's legend VP. External to that, we still got the Team Liquid split with a little bit of Gamma Expendables in between it. Supers are still playing that the hillside just to the north. There's a lot of field that's going to be down in the southwest that people are trying to avoid, but to the east of that, due south in the circle, we've got E Arena as well as Pechkora Road, Jin G, Alpha, all playing a very strong hillside. We also have the river that's eating up a lot of space, just kind of in the north, curving around pretty close to the circle through its entirety. So this circle is actually about, I would say, 60% places that people do not want to play. And that's why we see this early game firefights coming in so heavy. As it's going to be the hillsides and terminal. Circle pops, and it does abandon most of the hillside to the south.
It does, and it's going to force a lot of these teams on those early rotation. And again, a lot of people will be looking at Terminal with an opportunity just to kind of crash in, especially for the ones that are on the outside. Now we see Supers doing the same after not crashing in on towards Team Liquid. They're still holding a big split, big 2-2, and how long can you hold that before you cannot collapse and tie up? E-Arena looking for the early rotation in as well. Anyone Legends just ahead of them, and Gam the Expendables, down bodies, looking to come into this area. So loads of teams full send now, W key down, find safety.
Runs right through that area between Market and Terminal and gets quickly punished. VP on the defense. Finds 2. Can't quite get the 3rd, but 2 is going to be enough. Gam in a lot of trouble. Just nowhere else that they could really go. The 17 shots discouraged them from Terminal proper and led them right into the trap as Supers now have the northwestern section of this on control. And anyone's legend just on damage control to see if they can find any kills.
Gets one. Gets a bit greedy looking for any others that are out there. Lucrux will put him down. Now he looks trying to make the move. Knows if he can get rid of this team, get rid of it quite quickly.
2チームいるの分かってるかな。
Here, 1 versus 1. Destroyer though will finish things off.
来るね。
will fall. 16th place for them. It has not been a great start. These first 3 games have not been able to get any kind of momentum at all.
あーやめたか。
Mid-3 grouped up in the northeast.
いやこれ借り切
so
ったら
they're
で
just
か
trying
い
to
け
get
ど
their feet
ね。
underneath of them while being pressured from 2 different angles. Arena from Terminal got vision on it, some damage in.
いやで
God
も
like
怖い
now
の
just
分かる。
trying to
失
deal
敗
with the
失敗したら
fields
1
as
名
Team
なく
Liquid has
な
gone for a
った
closer
プラ
2-2
スいるから
split.
ねま
Kind
だ。
of holding down the position that we saw Cowboy go for his sneaky play a moment ago, as well as the northern section of their split. So Tony could find himself in some trouble if this plays too much longer. The only real benefit for Godlike's positioning is that Team Liquid's not going for too many peaks because we still have Alpha and Gen G playing the hills to the south of Terminal.
It's one of my favourite things with this map. So you got these fields, these rice fields. If played correctly, you can make sure there's no one behind you. It gives you a really nice kind of safe bulb. Then you got the ability to kind of adapt the train as well. Because he's found out now doing this, he's put himself in that corner. Falcons on the other side. Well, they've had to take to old school methodology. And M16 with a ability to glide to safety to some degree. Kicks found the route. Strimsy will be coming in behind. For Falcons, though, unfortunately for them, they got caught out with that juke with GK.
DK is still going to be pretty close to him. It looks like the Reses 4 Falcons are going to be coming in right now. That's why they went for the more compound control to see if maybe there's enough loot. I think that GK has spotted this. They're making a more aggressive move for positioning onto the weakened Falcons. Kickstart takes a lot of damage, was trying to dish it back, but just there you go. EJ goes down. It looks like he is going to try to go for that flush. This is just trying to get whatever points as he can and draw as much aggro to him. While the other players are just trying to landfall. Songchong instantly gets a knock on the Kickstart.
Yeah, good hold from Kick. He's done enough to try and delay. Well, boots on the ground on the north side. Zone shifts away from this position for GK again. Find themselves in a fight, but find themselves without a zone. Part Pro just trying to figure out exactly where the players are at the moment. Don't forget though, we have Strimsy knocking on the front door. Potentially Kick is bleeding, not been confirmed. It's just about to be confirmed that Kickstock will now fall. Falcons able to get themselves back to a 3. Let's see if they can find anything more from GK.
It's like GK just ran over there to grab the blue chip at range real fast to make sure everything was fine. There's our circles. You can see the blue zone starting to kind of force everything more down to the south. JD making it problem for Shrimsy. I don't think anybody on GK saw it. He managed to leapfrog right over that fence. Find some level of safety because GK would have gone for that. I think that Songjong was more looking for where the bullets were coming from. Nade's gonna pop over the top. Does it take down Songjong? But now Songjong has a rough idea where it's coming from. Knows, looks down, spots Shrimsy. Easy.
Unlucky. Nice try with the grenade, but doesn't quite work out. And for Falcons, they find themselves back to 4 for a very short window. Gustav took in to try and make some magic happen. They are on that rotation round. I think they're trying to leave the compound. That's going to, as long as they keep their heads down, keep themselves out of sight. There is a car waiting for them to go. If they're going to have to go, it's going to be pretty quick. But I have to question how much meds do they have, because they're going to have to potentially rotate out in blue or follow that coastal road. But that's going to force a potential line of sight here for GK.
And a little bit right here at the very section. They can use the signs and the buildings for some cover as they make their approach and just kind of send it in the circle. But this is mostly along that market pathing. Remember, we did see JDG taking shots over at the Falcons just a moment ago. No! Problems into more problems as now it is going to be GK and JDG with vision. Gustav, the last one up, and he's just having to run into the circle. No options, blind, right into market or terminal. There is nothing to be done in Falcons fall.
End of the road for them. Their wings have been clipped, and Falcons do fall. 14th place for them. GK get the body back up as well, so they're going to be back to a 4. JD Gaming also playing in that sort of north side of the zone, obviously coming back towards that terminal and that marketplace of potential another urbanish style. Ending Tian finds the final for Alpha Gaming. 17 will fall down. And looking to try and get a blow into GK as they get back to 4.
Yeah, EJ is just going to make landfall real fast. He's going to be able to run right back over to his crate, pick everything back up. That's going to feel great for him. So now we've got Cold holding the line against GK, as GK is going to be one of the few teams that needs to try to get themselves into this circle. There's a couple of hills over into the north. You can see the reason JD is playing this position is they don't want to move further into that terminal line because GK They try to do it, and it is going to be E Arena just waiting to feast on whatever's going to happen. Circle pops, and it goes market side, as we are going to have a lot of fields and a lot of terminal needing to figure out how to get across that little bit of a gap into market.
Well, market is open on Saturdays. VP have set their stall out. Swifters obviously have played in. Team Liquid still play for a 2-2. JD Gaming obviously looking to try and hold their area. GK obviously did lose one on that rotation back in. Arena losing it for the second one now. For JD Gaming, I think they're going to line up a grenade. There goes one, there goes two. That bounce will happen nicely. Does it go in towards the bowl? No, one cooked too early. Second one, too short as well.
All right, well, I mean, GK, you still got to move a bit further. Yeah, give it a little bit of a boost. Give it that extra bit of horsepower to push the top of the hill. Where do you go? It's full defended over here. MiTH's going to be just right gatekeeping on this side of it. And EJ nowhere to go, just tries to run in, and MiTH is going to eat up all of those. And thank JD Gaming for all the work that they put in. Distraction to the north means there's an opportunity to the south. And Gen G is going to try to use that to sneak in, but VP's got eyes on him.
Yeah, they have. For the fortune, they've gone ahead of Godlike. Godlike have got them lined up. These are these plays that, if played correctly, go so well. Evan just launches a little throwaway shot. D is obviously already down. Didn't know he'd done damage again. Everyone helmet has to be cautious. No, that's a scarecrow. But Gen G, they can't stay here. They're going to have to get the res back on. They're going to have to set up some sort of defensive play. And here come the mortar fires. Not just one, it's a second coming in. First, not great. Second, splits the divide between Gen G.
Ooh, Gen G, good response on it. First one goes a bit far, so we'll take some damage. No knock, but usually whenever you see the mortar set up like that, what Godlike was hoping for is that Gen G would have to abandon the smokes, and they just didn't get the damage on. That one does! Fana connects! D is now dead, Salute's now down, and Gen G in a lot of trouble.
That was the difference. The first couple of mortars were not coming from Godlike. They were coming from different positions, and they didn't know exactly where the team was. They could see the smoke. The Godlike knew exactly where to zero in. So obviously pressure was provided, information was given, and now they can get leapfrogging ahead and continue this bleed out.
Careful if they get too close to that terminal market area. Godlike knows that there's going to be a lot of people wanting to go for shots onto the most notably 17, who's going to have to be making some flush. Now it is just poor old Soul over there playing the other side as Godlike has an easy path in. Anyone's Legend hears this. Looks like they're trying to position to see if they can third party, but I don't know if the angles are going to be too good just where we see Soul playing from. Big nade could come out from Soul to kind of stop this in the tracks. Where does it end up falling? Gets damaged. Doesn't get enough.
Tony takes it on the head, knocks it aside. Now he charges his way forward into the grenade to finish things up. Heaven gets the final one. Soul will fall down. They get a position and they get a bit of breathing room now as they still remain in zone.
Market stays the place to be, as you saw Team Liquid went for a bit more of a split down next to Godlike to see if they could get involved. Mortars raining down as E Arena tried to make their cross. They're getting punished for it. JD Gaming still in position over to the north. Mortars continue to rain down upon Godlike's head, but they've got a little bit of a ridge that they can play. Issue is, our 17 going to focus in, our Team Liquid going to focus into this position with all the mortars just carving this place apart.
Yeah, they're all coming from 17 at the moment. They haven't got the exact, I suppose, zeroed in location where they are, but they know that ridge line. So they're kind of throwing, this is the final one now going out. They're throwing across a kind of a scattered approach to try and get some luck. Doesn't quite work out at the moment. Last one goes a little bit too far. And for them, they get a bit of breathing room. Other side is exactly the same, and it's coming in from Team Liquid. They know exactly where to kind of launch them, but it's scattered. You can see him moving about.
This is farmland. This is supposed to all have grass and things like that. No, it's just constant mortars raining down. I guess technically Godlike could be considered farming mortars right now with as many of them that are coming after him. But this position is safe enough for the time being. Team Liquid doesn't like the position and trying to make it no knocks, so they're just going to go more to the north, regroup back around their compound. They've got bigger problems to deal with, and JDG up kind of maybe eyeing their compound, seeing if they want to get involved over there. 17 still has to try to find a way to brute force, and it's going to be right next to anyone's Legend. But Godlike's LFP going to get the knock on Tiantian.
It's the first time we've seen them pop their head up and actually get 1-2 below. Tiantian now down. Woo. ends the opportunity for anyone's legend to get in as they will now storm their way into the market. 17 Gaming in the southeast corner. Got like outside in the crater field on the south. VP will go center themselves up in the middle, and with D and Supers who moved in quite early. Same with MiTH, obviously providing that pressure on the north side. The only teams that sit on the outside though is JD Gaming on the outside on the hill on the north, and Team Liquid have eventually consolidated their 2-2 split, but they are in the compound, and you have to question when the zone, if the zone shifts away, where do they commit to?
I mean, JD has, I guess, the safest path to go maybe around that Team Liquid side. And you can see that Team Liquid's already kind of reading that. I think that they're trying to get Panzers and other things ready. You have to make the assumption that it would be, if JDG goes over there, they're going to be playing the more northern section of the building. JDG has already been getting shot at by Supers. Supers making a very big committed focus onto the positioning that JD is going to be going for, because they know that JD has the opportunity to run down the hillside right on top of them, especially given how vertical that hillside is. If they've got any vehicles, you can catch a lot of speed real quick running down there. But let's not forget, MiTH is also playing over to the east of the position that we're going to be looking at as New Circle is about to pop.
Wow.
Ooh, and it keeps it market and fields both. That's kind of hard.
I'd argue that it's got more fields as well, right? So, yes, for Team Liquid, it's difficult because they extend across towards the market. Well, that cuts out most of the zone. Where does JD Gaming go? I think we're going to see this sort of mortar setup come really, really short and give sort of Team Liquid somewhere to play into the middle. But again, you look at the spacing, that's going to go pretty much bang into the center. Or do you try and deny entry points?
I mean, when we look at market, you know it's going to be a bit messy over there. MiTH is already starting to move more into the east. JDG is moving more into the east as well, getting separation away from Team Liquid's positioning. I think that the fortification could be set up. Now, it's a matter of, does anybody else go for these kind of... Oh, no, no mortars for positioning, mortars for Godlike. They still continue to go after Godlike because, all right, Godlike's just going to try to limp over the top of the road, and I guess so for that ridge line, and Team Liquid's going to be timing this one pretty much perfectly, as here is the JDG BRDM, and that is a lot of letters to be moving down into an open section of the circle. Team Liquid runs right up onto heaven. Followed back very quickly by JDG. Team Liquid needs to take this fast.
Yeah, I don't even know if they've picked up. There's a car rotating around behind them. Now they're going to turn Cowboy down 180. Will be a mobile fortification. Now comes the grenade. December 12th, so you will find Purdy. And Cowboy finds Luke 12 as an exchange with the Panzer. Is not great. Sends everything he can. But Team Liquid, well, they gallop into the field and they gallop out in 7th place.
Beautifully timed from JDG. They saw the move from Team Liquid. Godlike in trouble wants to try to get over next to Haven, get control over this rock before JDG can get it. Rex has been sent out to the Supers to see if he can get a side angle. LFP continuing to punish everything around him. They are pissed about all these mortars, and they're taking it out on the lobby.
Yeah, there's some vengeance coming, but look at the util. They've expelled so much. They've not been able to recoup it. Now they're having to dance around a BRDM. It's coming away. Run! Run!
Oh, crawling them together. They all get right on top of it, but the BRDM just looming around inside of all of this. JDG only has one player up in the BRDM. He jumps out, tries to go for it. He is going to get punished and go down. Back over into market. It is VP. Right up next to MiTH right now as it is going to be VP trying to crawl forward. 2 players up for them, but 4 for MiTH. 6 kills versus 7. And Corexy is just kind of caught up over here by himself. Lukrux playing in the crates right over next to the wall where market ends.
Yeah, Lukrux is in zone. Corexy playing now for points. I don't know if he would actually definitely had someone above him now. Baron is going to set this building alight. Jacob with the pans up. Corexy is going to try and delay and try and find anything he can. If he gets a knock, it should be an instant flush because he's not getting help from Lukrux down towards the west.
So Supers to the north of the circle in control. Godlike still trying to figure out how they want to take control over the southern section of it. Jacob has an idea. Panzerfaust pops, but it's going to be Kiss that finishes it off with kills. I like the timing on the approach. Both sides pinched quite quickly. So now just Lukrux up. Pretty decent spot in the circle for the time being, but MiTH might want that. They're leaning more to the south just to keep distance away from Supers.
Yeah, I agree. This is where MiTH's going to go. The Supers, though, played really well. They pushed into the field. They'd see if they could get involved in that kind of fight between Godlike, JD Gaming on that sort of southwest corner. They couldn't. They've now put themselves back in some hard cover, and they've lined up the gap. So from the main market building, when they tried to cross MiTH towards the west, there is a little bit of a trap. Now, obviously, for DN Supers, it is a 3-1. Rex, though, is trying to take the fight. You can see him in the distance there, popping a couple of shots and maybe distracting, so to speak, at Godlike. That might give him the opportunity, but it's a risky play for Supers.
Tony didn't see that. I thought maybe he did for a second. We'll see MiTH up on top of market. Kind of punished him as right now, Tony kind of has the high ground on what we're looking at for most of this circle because it's pretty flat over here into the west. Rex is going to get some vision onto this. He might go for some shots, but I think that Rex is playing this quiet to see if he can get something out of it. Nope, he is actually going to make it a bit more loud. Circle going to be right on top of him to creep forward. This is a full-on squeeze onto MiTH. MiTH has got the blue zone back behind him. They're trying to play more onto the positioning that Godlike is set up for external from this. Easier pathing, not having to deal with Supers, but this is working out great for Supers as everybody else is playing in the southern half of this circle. I mean, even the solo is going to be down there. So everybody getting mixed up and on top of each other means that really Supers get control over everything and the aftermath of what follows here.
Yeah, for me, this is like for Luke Rox is trying to get as many kills as he can. And obviously, for Rex, he's trying to open up anything he can on Godlike. Luke Rox does get Tony, but for Heaven, he obviously does the final blow for VP. So objective may be confirmed. 3 teams now remain. It's nearly a full house. Godlike, though, they're running out of their godly powers. And I think a lot of it is going to come down to utility. Rex launches his utility forward. The Panther, a bit of splash damage in the field, but definitely swallowed up and not done the damage they wanted.
I mean, Godlike's just been fighting in the shade of mortars for so long, and this is victory in and of itself. But here comes MiTH, trying to find something. Fana does get the knock. Haven going to go ahead and very quickly follow that one up. Deal gets a knock on to Fana to quickly follow it. So MiTH in trouble making their push. Supers using the opportunity to pounce. But the center point control has actually been surrendered. Player is now down. MiTH making more of a position to move back into the north. Realizing the angles aren't as good as they thought down there. Godlike finally does go down in 3rd place. But Supers have lost enough in this that maybe MiTH can find some momentum.
Yeah, dangerous when MiTH find the momentum. They are there. DN Supers obviously had the trap already set up. The smoke's going to stop the line of strike there. Gumin, though, with the S12K, just barrages a few shots into the middle. He can hear the footsteps. He can hear the jump. Baron jumps into Baron's place, and he's now getting chased down. But he turns. He gets Gumin down, but Rex and Heaven will get his and it's the final player for MiTH.
Oh, too much blue zone damage. Supers are going to take it. The math worked out. The control in the north. The funnel everybody to the south. Pays off. But valiant plays coming up from everybody that had to fight their way through market. That was an insane game. Toffee's Avenger. Where do you even want to start diving into this?
I gotta start with, I love the suit players walk off. They finish the game, drop the mice, and like, we gotta go. Planning doesn't stop here. No celebration, just game 4. But that was a crazy end game. Avenger, we were talking on the green room to go to market, to shrink onto market, to see it that tight and that urban, and just that was brutal to watch how people had to strategize with almost no options outside the town.
Yeah, so many teams already sent it. So many teams taking crucial spots there. But MiTH being on the other side, they were northeast, remember? They have to fight their way through VP and then eventually get to DNS. I like that. But Soup, they just played it too good, man. Holding on to the correct corner, flexing out where they had to. A difficult game for a lot of teams trying to get into that spot.
All right, highlights back from the game. It was a wild one. And I think that there's going to be a lot of discussion about some of the choices that teams different made. Like we had that godlike corner, which I don't even know there were that many mortars that were possible to spawn in the game, Mark. That was crazy.
I felt like it. And we saw 2 sides of it, right? There was a lot of the teams out there knowing there'll be a team in that position, knowing the maps and able to fire some mortars in there, but not to no accuracy. But for Godlike, they knew where the players were for Gen G and able to kind of land a mortar right on top of their head. That really kind of ended Gen G's opportunity to survive. But it became a bit of a crater field hit. Godlike, though, had to pray to the gods to stay alive. And you're right, the amount of mortars after that they were throwing towards their position was huge, but they survived.
I think really this came down to their survival was because Cowboy is not old enough to have finished taking trigonometry in high school yet. I don't know.
Class 101.
There was so many mortars.
No,
My
I
question
love
for
it. I love it.
My question for you guys is this: would Liquid have been better off using those mortars in a defensive capability to sort of clear this area or set up a crash for them? Because when they got here, JDG backfilled. Godlike came up over the top, and it felt like Liquid never had a chance, Matt.
I thought that that's what they were actually going for at the start. I think that's what we said in broadcast, is that they were setting up so that way they can take kind of control over the center position. And instead, no, it was after Godlike. Godlike, is such a weird spot because they were the underdogs in this, but you ended up rooting for them just because of how much they had to deal with inside that circle. Whenever we got to the tail ends of it, even MiTH was having to fight against the circle. That's ending up what took them all down. Is in the end, the blue zone wins.
You know, last thought on God, I will say, I think as I watched that, I kept finding myself going, Godlike survived? Like over and over again as every fight found out. I was like, Godlike's still 4 up? What? That said, Soup had a good end game, and I think they won this, Martin, on that moment when Liquid and pushed in and JDG backfilled, and Soup had the smart to like send out a flanker, lock in that fight, and then drop in from the north side. So they had less real estate than MiTH and VP and those guys, but made the most out of it.
Yeah, that's what the DN Supers and Guman particularly is so good at. Taking space, realizing space. He just had some sort of spider sense when it comes to, okay, there's no one left here. We need to take space right now. Kiss does get the man of the match, though, with the 4 kills. Well played by MiTH and how well they were able to take the market here, but they were not able to withstand the pressure from the Soup.
How is
they had to get a starter?
How is his pose not blowing a kiss? I don't understand.
Right?
Someone needs to tell him.
Missed opportunity. Well, he's holding out the kiss of death. That's the gun, right? It's the staring down the barrel, staring down the sights. That said, though, they fought really well, and I think this actually outlines what you guys talked about in previous sections, where it was like, kiss is good kiss, bad kiss, but it's good MiTH, good, bad MiTH. But it seems like it's the games where they don't have to worry about the rotation or the super macro. That game, they got into town, and all they had to do was worry about being a 4-man fragging unit mark, and it turned out to be 9 kills and 15 points.
But is that when we see the best from this team? It's like when they forget about, oh, actually, we can't get to the end game. And there's a switch, I feel, that they go, okay, let's maximize the amount of points. How many kills can we get? And what we find is they get the kills, they clear the teams, and then they find themselves in the end game. When we see them try and make those rotations to safety and try and overthink those rotations, they get taken out. So I think maybe Made in Thailand needs to work more on the outside and, I suppose, punching their way through every single team that sits in front of them.
You know, I think they almost pulled it off. They had a really nice little bait there with the S12 where he ducked into the building and came back out. They just got caught on that double and it dropped them, and Soup got the win. Virtus Pro, though, in first place right now, Martin. These boys are looking unstoppable this year.
Yeah, they've been looking great so far, and kills comes with it. The way they played the market, though, I would like to see more from it. The control, they lost people left, right, and center. Nixie died early, then they lost Beamy, and I don't know if it was because of MiTH's absolute perfectionist play, or it was VP kind of misplaying, not having a refrag opportunity on 2 guys, 3 guys. But yeah, I have to look in deep dive into that going into tomorrow.
I feel like my only problem with that roster is what you opened that sentence with. It's when things fall apart, it starts with Nixie died early. And then from there, the wheels sort of come off. And I do feel like that's sort of the state nature of VP right now, is they depend a lot on Nixie. And Curexy and everybody else is playing great, but he seems to be that linchpin that pushes them forward into some really great moments. Let's see, we had some great field fights. We had a crazy amount of teams going into market, Matt. And as you guys watched that, you had to be blown away, gobsmacked by that initial send.
Well, I think that's one of the reasons why the VP had so many troubles, right? Is they kind of set up for a couple of spots. They were hoping that maybe the circle would pop away from market and then they would have to go. And they positioned themselves in these like higher positions to try to catch people that were pushing on foot through the low ground through market. And then as the 4th team, as the 5th team, as everybody started to get in there, suddenly those positions that VP had taken to take control of the center of market were extremely vulnerable because they just put themselves right in between everybody else that wanted a piece of them, and they slowly lost player here or there or Nox. It was really hard to keep it together because when you look at it, I mean, it's Supers that's there, it's MiTH that's there, it's tons of squads that we know can absolutely unload and will punish you the moment you make a misstep.
Well, there are no spaces left for missteps as we prepare for game number 4. It's only a 10-game series, so now is the time to try to put rubber to the road and get those points so you're not chasing tomorrow. 2 matches left today, 5 to play tomorrow. This is for the PGS 8 champion. Let's get ready to rondo. We're going to send Mark and Mac back to the digital green room. Me and Martin are going to be here on the call, and as we get ready to head to rondo, after that last game, everyone's got to be a little shooketh, Martin, a little bit sort of on edge because of how intense it was.
Yes, it was extremely intense. And we do have a vertical north to south playing path here. Most of the team, most of the players are going to be able to either get to the drop spot easily or grab a car and drive there. And for me, yeah, it's really been the story so far of PGS 7 and so far PGS 8 as well. We have seen so many playmakers make big plays, and then when it matters the most, they die early on. Even in that Miramar game, Nixie tried to go and die first, but he got saved. Saving Private Nixie, saving Private Kiss. That's really been a big story of it. And sure, if you look at PGS 7, the hard and cold facts is that in 5 of the 10 games, Nixie died first. That could have been the reason why they didn't win the whole thing, but when this man's on fire, he still gets MVPs even though he does die first. And that's what's difficult. When you're in a playmaker position and you hear that call so often from a lot of these guys is, guys, I'm going to make a play here. If it works out, we're going to win the game. And if that happens in half the games, I'm fine.
Circle popped. You guys have about 15 more seconds to make a prediction over on the Twitch chat. I choose VP. Who do you choose if you're in Twitch chat making your prediction right now, Martin?
VP. There's a home turf of Hongchang. Team Liquid also close, but they've been struggling a little bit so far today.
All right, get those votes in. Let's see who can be the smartest of us all when it comes down to it. VP Curexy up inside the plane. Air support is up. The scout is on, and this is their chance to put up some big numbers. You want to catch that home circle all the way at the end of the flight path. So that does mean the good news is because it was vertical, the lads at the top got out early and should be honestly almost done prepping loot and searching for cars so they can start these long, brutal rotations to the south side. Upside, vertical map, I think, Martin, it's not that hard of a map to go north to south and find ways into this circle.
No, it's such a big map. It's just you know, you have to decide here, okay, we know there's teams potentially close to us. What direction do we go? As Clary's Cowboy turns and drop shots him. Easy play here for Team Liquid. As they take an expendable player out. He's now very expendable as Clary's our 2024 MVP for PGC now. He's going to have to go back and get his lunch done.
He had to make sure nobody was around to hunt him. We're going to nickname Cowboy Landmine because this guy, I think, honestly, the amount of times that I see one player drive into his compound and die today has been astronomical. He seems to always be there in the right place at the right time to ruin your team's ability to make a play and then disappears without another word. The question is, will he go get that blue? Will he blow it up, or will he try to bait them in for the rescue?
Yeah, that's a big question for it. I'm really interested to see how far these rotations are coming, how deep they go, because when this far south, you can get these rotations all the way on the western side and kind of cross some of the bridges on the west, or you can go either all the way along the south side of Tinglong Garden and get in there. GT is here. They have been kind of close to Team Lick, but having lost one player, they're going to have to figure out, do we try to go for a res, or we're just going to play this as a 3-man?
That'll be interesting to see what they choose to do here as Hong F is going to go ahead and show us a little bit of looting. Cowboy, this is the replay of how he made that play. Ghost rides the whip, jumps out, and just gets the back. Easy peasy. I do like the attitude. I mean, Clark's like, oh, well, it happens to the best of us. Keep a good spirit. You got 10 games to get through, so even when the bad happens, you got to smile.
No, it's VP here in Hongchang. Home turf circle for them. BME already sent south to try to take some of the better and higher prior compounds. And we can see how much they make out of this one. This is a difficult circle to get this much love in, because there's a lot of compounds around, and if you're not able to lock some of the big ones down early on, it's going to be a little bit rougher here. Now he has an M4. I wonder, once we are live with the next patch for esports servers, is he going to be running that RPD, or is it only going to be Corexy? He's the usual 762 Mega Man.
I mean, if it's as powerful as people are starting to predict, particularly you, then I don't see a world where they wouldn't. I mean, I'm a little bit worried we're going to end up. Do you remember the M4 meta where people were running double M4s, one with a scope, one with a red dot, because it was just so gosh darn powerful? I don't think we'll hit that necessarily at that level, but I do kind of worry we're headed for a meta where it's a single gun plus long range engagement situation. But again, I think that'll give us an interesting pop, a fascinating PAS, and then we're back up. There'll be changes before the next big event.
I mean, they said it's going to be 4 months of this meta here. The question is, do they nerf the RPD before or not? I would assume so, because the first 10 bullets on the current RPD is insane. Looking forward to see it in the hands of some of these players, as we are going to be finishing this PGS before we do go back to our regionals, where PAS and PEC is going to continue. And yet to be confirmed if we're going to be on the RPD patch or not for those two. But yeah, it's going to be interesting no matter what, regardless.
All right, team's starting to move towards the circle. Looks like we will just focus on this game this time, which I kind of dig, as JDG crosses the big bridge, making their way towards the inside with the big brain. They are scouting here, and on the other side is a problem. Geek and Team Liquid, I believe, are both within striking range of the other side of the bridge. JDG smells trouble, parks the car. He's going to scout here from the high ground. It's a good idea instead of just sending. I just don't know how they cross this bridge feasibly. Yeah. Nope, go somewhere else, they say.
They saw a guy, they saw a car. Yeah, something's happened here, but let's see how it kind of rolls out. I'm sure they can stay on the other side of the bridge, and then if it goes too far away, the other teams on the other bridge, currently bridge camping, are going to be going away toughies. So let's just get some more loot. Currently an ump with the no EMAG on. Now over to an ace here with an SLR. That's way more viable, but only 2 nades, no smokes, no other hard util. You really need to get going with this one here, JDD, because sure, you sent early to get some information. There's plenty of compounds still to be looted on your side of the bridge.
I think that's the biggest reason for the pullback, is saying, okay, I see what's out there. We're going to need a ton of utility, particularly smokes, and to get across this situation, no matter where we go. So let's get back in there. Let's stack up the smokes. Let's maybe get rid of a couple of those Molotovs and see what the best utility for us to push forward is. Also, fill up the car. Now we get to watch the Pico. Here's the problem with electric vehicles. It's that gas at the end. You see the grip. They don't have the traction control trail mode that the Toyota Grand Highlander does, so it's impossible for them to get up that bridge. Unfortunate.
Yeah, that's another try here. See if we can just force it, brute force it across. There we go. Oh my God, no! It's stuck.
This is way better than the full screen replay. I'd rather watch you try to get a peek over the bridge all day. He gives up. He gave up. He walks away. Unfortunate.
Yeah. That's or there's no more electricity left on it. Now over to Falcons and Shrimpsy and these guys. They're going to be rotating the blue currently. They realize, Toppy, so this is super important. When you accept that you're not going to have any priority into the next circle, you have to get your full setup, get everything you can, get mortars in the cars, get Panzerfaust in your cars, get fully decked out, get all the attachments, get every single gun you prefer, and then you come into the circle potentially more strong than the other teams that have kind of got in early. Now, the question is, how deep can they get into the circle for the third circle pop and get information where they might be able to sniff out a 2-2 split that's getting back to a full 4-man where they can backfill a compound and then play from.
Gas station in the offing. Vision. It looks like he stopped to fill up, but he did it. JDG close. Gonna go ahead and scout here. It seems like the Expendable stayed nice and quiet till Tanvu gets the opening knock on December 12th. JDG decides they've got to send because the knock is out. Hong F decides to flex out to the right side. Nans does get the counter play on Tanvu. Duck Juice tries to go around to the left. Hong F gets a nice grenade out. Gonna see if he can find a move. Meanwhile, Duck Juice gets non-flushed. Elsewhere, anyone's legend charging Twisted Minds. Batulin knocked and flushed. Now back to this fight as we continue to watch. JDG comes around the corner. Suze gets the kill on Hong F. And now it seems like JDG has managed to turn this fight around very, very much in their favor.
Absolutely, and we do get a lot of teams getting in close to the southwest, in between Ringjiang and Tangshan. So many teams fighting for a lot of the great space here, but this compound is somewhat low prior here. GT down to just Duck Juice. Utility being committed from him, trying to maximize and salvage a little bit of points here, but it's going to be difficult for him. Maybe he just bows down and gets out of the circle. He puts a chip in there and blows up the car. That's cheeky. I like that.
Wow. That's vindictive is the word. He's going to actually use it to get up onto the roof, finish the car, I would assume, to dump the chip, or maybe it was bait. Maybe he was trying to get them to push by implying that he was getting rid of the chip. Sick play, actually goes and gets the knock and the flush out of it. Nade to the high ground. Sky burst right in the face, and that'll be the end of Gam the Expendables.
Very vindictive indeed, but Blue Chip is still
It was
alive.
a cheeky play, though.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. A little bit good bait. That's where you see so many do these kind of baits with both nades and everything, kind of try to get people to overextend in these situations here. And Scabby's going to get rest here. The question is, are they going to get Jacob up as well? 17 is just above. VP is close. Patrick Road is close. GK is close as well. Overall, this little spot up here is very, very strong, but VP is going to bow down and get down to the compound here that Beamy was able to get close to once he was locking it down. This is a strong spot. You don't get too many kills from here, but you do get really good circles sometimes, and that's really what they're going to be betting on here.
Genji's going to get out of dodge as APG comes around the corner. It parks up here. Another Pico bus, able to climb the grass, just not the stairs. As Genji completely withdraws from this spot. And you know what? And Alpha, they're willing to just let him go. They're like, I don't need to get involved with this. You guys do you. Let's let you drive away.
Yep, absolutely. Very interesting.
I guess that's the danger of that opening knock, right? Is that if you do take that knock, they're going to turn around and they're going to come back, and you might not be in a position to want to fight. As was that Shrimsy drifting down the bridge? That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it does look like a little bit of a drift there when you come rolling in from the distance. And Gustav and Shrimsy now getting a little bit closer here. They are kind of close to this circle. So with the space they're able to create by just scouting a little bit the cars and not seeing too many people in close, we do have Kickstart in too. So the amount of information that's kind of available to them alongside these ridges here makes them actually get kind of deep. And this next circle might pop. Oh, it's really good for them actually here.
Yep.
Shrimpsy with being the point man here, they're going to have a really good dip alongside where Shrimpsy is playing. Tickleton, Gustav also getting in there close, and they're going to continue to have a lot of space around this. A little bit of water enables them to play these ridges aggressively.
They can play it aggressively, and it's not going to affect the shift coming in 4, so they can actually possibly get even better strategic position. I think in the old days we would have had to push to try to maybe take APG's spot or a little bit higher up, knowing that the late game was going to require a chase. Luke 12 gets some nice shots here as Liquid goes ahead and pings APG on the pass by, though no one knocked out of their car. They'll happily just finish that rotation.
Oh, of course, finds one. That's Simon T out. He's going to be able to get the flush too. It does look like his shots are coming in too. Yep, Kickstart's helping from the distance too. Jump back into the driver's seat for that one here. They're setting up shop for a really, really good scent. They see that the car is just rolling in. Now, Supers, though, rolling up to their brethren from Korea. Oh, Human finds a Khan. The Khan is not ready for that.
Nope, what a great, I mean, that's the optimal first kill. You come around, just hit him with a car. You don't have to have any risk, all reward, and the rest of the team has to abandon. Shrimsy, they know this spot's good. Everyone else is coming. They got to defend this as the boys are under attack. It looks like Godlike feeling the vibe, pushing in here, trying to stop the Falcons. A little America's brutality as Gustav whips it around and tries to get that car out of danger zone.
Yeah, no point fighting for terrain that they don't know is viable just yet. Tickleton has the better spot. And the other guys also close. Kick is coming in too on the southern side. He's going to re-engage and go flying once again here. But they do need to have an area where they are controlling an uphill battle. Otherwise, they're just going to get naded out from the Shrimpsy. He is kind of setting up shop for that. And having support from Gustav is crucial for this one here. It's a big open space if you don't control both sides of this ball here, Toughies.
It would be very tough for them. Godlike going to be watching, but the upside for them, I guess, is Godlike has a decent little spot over where they are too. So if they can agree to disagree, maybe both teams can just sit and wait for the next shift without too much trouble. Meanwhile, we go over to the Soup. Winners from the last match, head-to-head with the White Rabbits. Winners from our last PGS, looking to battle here in just a minute. I'm not sure E-Arena knows that the Soup is this close.
I don't think they realize at all. Pathompung's just driving away here. That could have been an easy battle for them. APG pulled up on Team Liquid's compound on this side here, but they're just on the other side of the road, and Cowboy has a different angle. More shots comes in. Mortas comes in as well. There's some recalls coming in from JDD2, and pretty clearly trying to fend off some of these guys. There's some Mortas laying ready to be used here on this side. Now shots comes in from Tickleton towards the arena. That's really important here. That also opens the door for Soup as well. They're going to be able to get some shots and get potentially some knocks. There it is. Rex finds Nurens.
That hit from Tiggleton opened the door for Rex to try to plug in on Soup. So as E Arena backed away from the initial shot, it put him in a tough position of flux. So now they have to try to find somewhere to go as they have to now charge into battle. So we'll see what happens to them. Twisted Minds scrambling all over the map, trying to find somewhere to go. They got the drop from Batulin in front, trying to find a position. Liquid going to be watching them come in, and Geeke going to be driving by in the distance. And I think they actually pulled it off. They realized Liquid was on the opposite side of the road, and they're going to lock in over here. Not great cover, but at least they're alive.
Yeah, that's a shoe inside the door while it's closing in this circle. Sure, they're on the western side, but with a little bit of luck, they could get a shift towards their end, or they're going to be able to fight anyone else that's on the northern side of the road. The problem is MiTH has this high ground that's overlooking everything, but 17 is also looking at them. Other teams are trying to get in close. But with Liquid here, Utility's being committed now. Cowboy down to about half HP here, and he's going to have to disengage from this angle, trying to hold this aggressively. And now over to Geeke, trying to slide in towards the middle here, trying to make space where there is currently none. Maybe with a bit of util, maybe with a little bit of pickaxe action here. We could see them set up shop towards the center here, Toughies.
You look at some of those drive paths. Geeke has been all over the place as they tried to find this spot in the center. Twisted Mind send from up on the north was frantic as a blue pass VP, anyone's legend, and shots from MiTH and APG to land on their spot right now. Falcons still in a pretty good spot, though the circle has shifted away from them, and Godlike looks like they may have to move up, though I don't know. Oh, JDG's going to drive right into him. Oh, my.
That's a straight shot. Oh, my God. Shrimsy finds two, finds Cold and Suze. For quick flushes too to get the points confirmed. Gustav helps as well. More shots comes in. More knocks are happening as well on the other side. Just one JDD player left. Oh my God, Gustav with a good nade here could completely wipe JDD. Well played by Falcon so far. And JDD's going to be out with that nade. Great play from Gustav.
JDG stands for just don't go when it comes to those sends. Didn't work out. Shrim's going to send him on back. LFP takes a couple of shots at Kickstart and tries to be a moving target. And LFP a little bit frustration spray there at the end. They got nothing. JDG drove right past them. They missed their chance to get any picks on JDG. All 4 kills got fed over to the Falcons, and there was never a third-party opportunity because of how fast the Falcons finished the fight. Godlike could only sit and watch the points go to the Falcons.
Yeah, absolutely. Now D and Subas here trying to edge their way into this circle. Hey, look, they have just a little bit of a ridge. Deal finds example, opens up to Twisted Minds here. This is huge. Now everyone speeders coming in, pulling off. There's a Panzerfaust in the hand of one. Can he get one knock? Patulins with a shotgun onto heaven here. Pretty Curdy nades Perfectix as well. It's falling apart for Twisted Minds. Down to just Patulins and Lou. Tries to get the flush, try to get the points, gets Cumin. And now it's really rough for DNS trying to get into this one.
They're coming in, but it's also causing Twisted Minds to limp. In comes the push. Liquid's watching from across the road to just kind of see what'll happen. DL throws a nice little grenade through the garage to try to push Batulin off. Now he realizes there's not a living man in there. He's outside with me. Gonna throw some smokes, a couple of pops, but he's got a Panzerfaust. Out it comes. Look to the right. Boom goes the dynamite. Pop goes the face. Lou gets dropped. A deal, I believe, the last one alive here for DNS if he can try to get to Rex, but Liquid knows this is an opportunity to maybe stop that. I guess now you just say skip him and move in and lock up that compound.
Yeah, they need to maintain control of that compound. Maybe just hold out now that the damage has been done. Petrico Road sending in here. They're getting somewhat close to Geeke, ready with Panzerfaust. MiTH as well, trying to send it to the other side of the road here. They're actually going to be backfilling the compound that Team Liquid left. This is going to be really, really important for MiTH. Big pull up here in the 2-story compound. It's going to be hard to get them all out of this one here. A lot of utils going to have to commit it. 4 nades on the side of Luke. Now with double blue zones and nades, that could be quick kills from Team Liquid if they do it right.
All right, Liquid, these two were put in charge of holding. You saw that hurt on Luke earlier. I think he got knocked. That opened the door for MiTH to make the crash. They dodged the double blues, and that leaves them in a decent position to keep holding this house. Liquid going to be incredibly frustrated. Meanwhile, it looked like 17 was popping in on DNS, but Rex actually got the knock on Lil Ghost and the flush stolen by Alo.
Big nades here. Gustav finds a little bit of util being thrown his way, catches a little bit. Tiggleton does find a flush onto 0-4-NB. Rex finds everyone from 17 Gaming alongside Deal. That's huge. Rest is coming in. Shrimps is trying to get Gustav up quick, but Petrico Road is disengaging from this completely.
Yeah. Well, they heard the fight over here.
pull-up
They
onto
don't
mid.
think Falcons. Well, they're like, Falcons isn't worth the fight, and this was such a quiet blowdown between these two. They decided to jump inside, and now they're going to get smoked. Jacob comes in immediately, gets 2-6v6. Alo's going to have to defend the stairs, and now it is a three-way fight for a compound that nobody wanted in the first place on the very edge of the circle. So it's going to be a try for recovery. Cowboy, Purdy both get those knocks on DNS. They've been playing that defense for a minute and managed to finally stop them as they try to progress in. They had to actually cross the road and go take out the soup, but now they're separated from the rest of their team.
Really well played, really well read here, but MiTH seems to be the benefactor of this one here. And now VP activates. They need to get into this circle too. They find a Gen G player. Salute is down. And with him being kind of on the edges of this, Nixie's going to be able to be the point man, the playmaker, you could say, from VP. And they're going to have control of this whole side here. This is going to be crucial for them. And he sees that he's alone. Easy flush for Correxy. Bean and Soul also falling here to Godlike is really, really important for VP to make more space on the north side.
Yeah, Burst Project, like really fast backfill, was able to take it. Now you go to Godlike, who's going to take the shots at Gen G. Gen G was moving down to possibly take this fight. They ended up having to stop for a second when they lost their player at the back. That confused them and put them in a position where now they are, as you like to say, the meat in the burger, as Godlike and VP both have vision on them. And if they try to go anywhere, Geek is waiting with open arms. Haven gets the nade popped up, throws it up over the top. Good shot. Blows up. Would have got the flush, but does. Finishes him off. So Haven with a nice nade drops D and Soul. And Gen G from a position of power to the lobby in a matter of seconds.
That Geek stand really paid off. They've been able to dig down really deep here, but then was just looking all around them. That edge is so good for them. Godlike, though, backfilling in this position. This is the next fight we're going to be looking at potentially with Godlike taking space in the east, or we're going to see Team Liquid try to force it into mid position just to get the kills, even though the compound is not in. We're going to see the Destroy die to the blue zone finally as he gets 8th place. 1 placement point for him for surviving for that long.
All right. Liquid is stacked up. I know they need to get in, but I don't want to see them force this. They need them to go slow, sort of get it, open up that first room, and then maybe move in as a group. Because right now it feels like this is... Liquid will often be forced into it for giving up 2v1s here, or situations where they're double peeking and getting smashed. So I need them to very carefully clear this as a group and make sure that they're working as a team. Because if they can get that house, if they can clear that wall, they at least get to go to the circle and probably make top 3.
Yeah, this is imminent for them right now. They're going to have to jump into this one. Let's hear to Team Liquid's team comes as they push this mid position to try to get more points.
Get on them now. Get on them a little bit.
Playing with your Cowboy.
Be a little quiet here. Above us.
I have a Panzer.
Panzer 2.
Yeah.
Door on me. I'm gonna open it. Back up.
Yep.
Open it. Back up.
Yep.
Pop gas can.
Nade on us. Nade on us.
Okay.
Playing for the ridge above you guys. The balcony.
DZs. I need to go back up and heal.
We need to reset, smoke guy, and yellow building and fight, guys. We can't keep stalling. We need both guys with Panzers to be men and go in this building and make a play.
Yep.
Hollowed it. Another doorway here on my left. You flash
I'm on fire. I'm still healing.
I like that. Be a man. Get in there. Take the hit. He says, you know, Cowboy immediately responds with, I'll eat it. I'm going to go in. I'm going to be the lead. If they take me out, they take me out. Immediately goes for the shot. Halo and Baron, they pull it off. They did what Purdy said, and they get the double knocked open the door. Cowboy goes down in return. Jacob with the backstab, though, comes around. Liquid had the defense, and now it's Kiss. Kiss the man, the myth, the legend comes out. Goes Kiss to death on the right side. Spins to the left. Can he finish the job? He does. That's Kiss, baby. K-I-S-S in the face.
Yeah, でもいいんだよね。
Well played by Made in Thailand there, but they lost too much. They're not going to be able to get more out of that one. Top 5 teams now, leaving it over to Falcons, to Godlike, and now to APG. VP died early on as well, so a little bit unfortunate for them, but Falcons with 7 kills, 4 for Gustav, 3 for Shrimsy, holding the control in the whole southwest side here. It's going to be a massive opportunity for them for this game here. They can still easily win this, especially if they're able to force Godlike over into that position.
Very nice. So Myth manages to hold. APG is going to be watching them. The circle is closing. You're going to bring these two out and just hope for a little bit extra. But the fact that they survived that double Panzer push by Liquid was impressive. Duckmy and Powell going to be here on defense for Alpha as they kind of lock in this spot and see what they can do. GK up behind them, and GK is really going to be, I think, the bigger problem for Duckmy.
Yeah, it's going to be rough. This is a rough push in general.
Yeah,
as it's kind of uphill, a little bit slanted, and Geek is hunkering down a lot. Now Kickstar's trying to make its way into a better spot here. They do have uphill, but when they go over to this kind of southeast side, they're exposing themselves to both Myth and APG. Let's see where APG kind of end up going here. It looks like they're going to be pushing Geeky at the current side. See, they're inside just on the edge of the north side. We do have one more circle shift, but it's going to be godlike as well with plenty of cars to try to make a send into this circle.
Godlike looks like they are sort of planning to make a move here. Tigleton and the Falcons have been a thorn in their side, and vice versa for the last 10 minutes, and it will continue as both of them outside the circle are going to keep pinging each other as they leapfrog their way in, and both would like to see the other team eliminated. Now, if Godlike can get forced around, which it looks like is happening, so they come down on Geeky and APG from above, this opens the door for Falcons very comfortably. Panzer jousting, baby. In they go, jumps the car, out with the Panzerfaust, out of the car, but double knocks to open the door. Geek is eliminated, but Godlike just like that, down to 1, trying to get it done. 5 kills go in the way of Gustav because Falcons are the ones who want to feast as they watch this battle.
Great nade coming in here. Nice kills from Falcons. Gustav finds one. Another one gets found by EJ from the bleed out here. That is Godlike out in 4th place. 4 points for them. Now down to 2 guys from Myth, 2 guys from APG, where 1 is knocked, and a full 4-man from Falcons. Now with 10 kills. 6 for Gustav, 4 for Shrimsy. This is going to be a fantastic game to push them towards that first spot if they're able to get all the kills.
Really, they got to buy Godlike dinner. The send there to cost 4 and then basically take a lot of utility, helmets, and heals out of the pockets of Myth and APG was huge. This opens the door for them to control the circle now, while APG and Myth still have to deal with each other, and the Falcons have as much time as they could possibly want to spread out and hunt.
Yeah, they're fully aware of what's being set up here, Toughies. This is crucial spot. Smith is being pushed towards Falcon's side, but they have a great 2-2 split set up. More utility being committed. Kick has so much util. More and more shots are coming in, and nades are being done here. That's a rogue car. Scoom, where are you?
Scoom, watch out! He'll never hit. He's like, really? Still? All right. Tigleton, though, in a great spot up here. He's got the ghillie. He's got the cover. You got Kickstart digging in behind his Dorito. This is honestly, I'm not even sure how you beat the Falcons here out of maybe get a force a 2-1, or maybe Alpha goes around one side and Myth goes around the other. Can you send more signals to each other in the stadium and say, let's work together or we lose for sure? If only there were.
I mean, Pow was just trying to play from maybe 1 point, maybe 2 if he sees Falcon pushes. You know, half of the guys are already inside the circle. Myth Jacob trying to make a little bit of a play here, but Gustav has a great angle. 262 damage and 7 kills. I've never seen so little damage with that many kills. What an effective little stealer he has been this game here. My captain. What an
effective little thief. An effective little thief. That's what Martin looks for in IGLs. Someone who can steal some kills. The question is, did he steal them from his own team, or did he take them from everybody else? Kiss got that smoke on out. It looks like they're going to push forward. Trying to find something to watch APG off to the side. It's almost like Myth is baiting the push so they can turn and try to get the pivot here. But Gustav gets Jacob. Pow gets Kiss. And that is going to open the door. Myth is down. 1 player left from APG. The Falcons smell blood, and I assume they'll come running.
Yeah, nades are being committed. Nades are being thrown here. Well played. They find it. Look at that. Big chicken dinner here for Falcons. 13 kills, 23 points in this one here, Toffees. What a way to play it. And also, by the big rotation coming in and the calling from Gustav and the support with the information that Kickstart had from that bird in the sky was so crucial for this win here. What a game for them. Well played.
I was going to say, as we pull Matt and Mark back into this, I think it's going to be tempting as you sit and watch to be like Falcons caught circles. But I think what Martin just pointed out is important. They made it across the river. They put Kick in the air. They bristled out. They fell back twice by teams to make sure that they could hold a good defensible spot and locked it up. Once they had that pizza pie slice cut up, it seemed like they were in a good spot. But would you say, Mark, was that circle driven or was that skill driven?
Oh, difficult, very difficult. Interesting circle. I mean, obviously, really pop dance stuff. Oh, it's going to be a good one, to be interesting play. We like how
技術的
Falcons
だ
sort
っ
of
た
pushed
の
into
か
that
はたま
southwest
た
corner. I think you guys
ア
alluded
ンチの運が良かったの
during
か
the cast. Actually, Kick being able to provide so much information
まあどっち
from
もあ
the
るよ
bird
ね
in the sky was critical,
まあ
especially
ゴ
when we
ッド
see
ライ
teams sort of
ク
rotate their way. He
の
was able to
選
pinpoint
択肢
his
が
own
も
ways
う
to launch an aid and then try and hold.
全てだった気
One
がする
question
けど
I've got though is where is Shrimsy's hat? Because he's not got it on today, and you said they're meant to be wearing it to be able to get the victories. They pulled out the bag without the hat.
Yeah, because exactly, and I will tell you that I've learned in my life that superstition stops at bad hair, and that is just the way it works. I will not look bad for superstition. So they make that play, and I like that answer you gave me, Mark. We'll ask chat. You guys just type one word. Was it luck or was it skill? I'd love to hear you argue it out because that's always fun. Let's go, Matt. This end game was fascinating. It was a really tough situation. Deal and the rest of Soup came in here, had to deal with Twisted Minds, Liquid across the way, the constant crashes. It felt like that area there was really what decided this entire match.
Yeah, you could feel that Team Liquid were getting pulled into too many different directions as all the crashes were happening around this area. There was a very minimal section of the circle that could be played. It was kind of down into this ravine where the road follows. And the couple of teams that went early and held control over this, most notably it was going to be Team Liquid and Myth that were kind of neighbors for a while, got, I guess, most of the brutality of the circle and those crashes coming in. And that's what led to these two teams kind of inadvertently working together for a while to deal with like odd rotates coming back from Petrichor Road. Like we saw them one time try to go in the circle and they were like, nah, bro, that's not working. Instantly ran back in. And it wasn't until the later sections where we finally got this really beautiful play coming from Jacob to go for the backstab, and then Kiss just comes in with just enough to finish it off.
That was devastating. Liquid, honestly, like, it's Kiss, right? So it happens. But Liquid with that double Panzer push, I thought they had it. Godlike sends 4 here, Martin. I don't think it was a bad idea. It was the right move to try to win, but they just got nuked.
The only question is when you do that push, does the first guy go deep enough? And I think he did go kind of deep. They played well with the Panzer, but Kiss was just different there, and that's the problem. But what a great way to get this done. Look at that. Gustav, shh, don't talk about it. 8 kills and 300 damage. That's illegal.
Don't talk about the stolen kills is what he's not talking about. 650 on Taggleton, 385 on Kick, and all the kills seem to slide downhill to the IGL. Weird how that works. Now, also, we'll say I got a special report. We sent our reporter on the ground out to do some interviews, and Kat Conti found out that Shrimsy was told he could no longer wear the hat. So just proof that the tournament's trying to stop them from dominating. I'm just saying.
Oh,
say what?
The tournament stopped her from
maybe it was Kat's hat. Now she's Hat Conti.
I don't even know how to respond to that.
We'll leave that one.
I'll give it to you. All right, let's talk about man of the match. 8 kills, no damage, but the IGL putting good plays up. He was also doing a great job of playing that anchor. The downside of having a player in the air mark is that you do sort of lose their firepower and their ability to sort of hold anchors, especially on the split or the sort of big ravine area that Falcons was trying to run. And a lot had to go to the hands of Gustav to make sure that he was watching teams like Godlike and keeping them from aggressing.
Yeah, he was on that sort of top side, and he sort of worked his way back towards the adjacent sides. And look, what also helped is the amount of water stored in play. All that stuff down in that sort of southwest gave Kick the opportunity to kind of do laps up and down. But Gustav was obviously driving to get the victory, and a good victory for them. 23 points, and yes, he might have stolen all the kills away from Tiggleton by the looks of things. But it's a good game, and a game arguably needed from the Falcons.
Look at that face. That's the face of a guy that's stealing every single kill around him.
He stole the majority of the kills from the other teams, guys. I'll have to say this. As they are 41 points, edging just 2 points ahead of Myth and Virtus Pro. Sure, he was last hitting from the team, but he also stole a lot of the kills that was knocked from the GK intersection from, especially on the Godlike guys with the nades and the shots coming in from the distance.
All right, so a couple things. First off, I was going to push hashtag save Shrimsy's hat, but with numbers like this, I guess it doesn't need to be there. So I'm glad to have his hair back. Second, for those of you who maybe didn't catch on in EWC, it's been a little while here. As a heads up for you, a reminder from PGS7 if you missed it, Kickstart did step back as IGL. Gustav has taken over that role since EWC. Ibiza walks in front of the trophy, and I think it has been a very good changeover. They said, you talked to Kick was very honest. Everybody was sort of being like, oh, we were trying something new. And Kick was like, I'm going to be real, man. wasn't up for it. I had to step back. I wanted to focus on fragging. Gustav was ready. He stepped in, and I think it's going to be really good for the team. And you can tell that was a hard call to make, right? In the same way that it was tough for Ibiza to step back, I think, and say, I'm the coach now. We're going to make this work. Kickstarter said maybe IGL wasn't the thing that I needed to do. Handed that reins over to Gustav, and it's working. I think it took a little bit of time to get its feet under it, Matt, but I think it looks good.
I mean, just look at the chat. There is comments that can be had about Falcons, more so than almost any other team. If they're doing good, it tends to be a bit quiet. If they're doing bad, suddenly everybody's got an opinion on who should be kicked and what's going on and how everything's going to happen with that.
Yeah.
And we always talk about with Kickstart that, you know, like, he is a very, I don't want to say it, he's a very smart guy, but sometimes, like, if you get enough of that's going on in the back, it can just erode your mental and make you start double and triple thinking everything. It's a very great awareness from the team to step back, try to find something on this one, and just say, okay, let's try to work out what's best for each one of our players inside of the environment and who can actually find the biggest success. That's everybody coming together to make a system work instead of just putting on one person's shoulders. And that's one of the things I like about the Falcons, is that they are very, I guess, brotherhood oriented, and it feels like they're doing a lot better since that change-up.
We'll see if it keeps continuing. We talked about Kickstarts being selfish. We talked about Ibiza being selfish and putting himself in a position as coach. We talked to him earlier. We're going to check back in with him before we go to break to see a little bit more of an insight on what VP's doing and how the adjustments are going.
Hello guys, welcome to NAVI. We have Ibiza again with us. Can you share about what you will do to secure the lead in the leaderboard right now?
I mean, first of all, to summarize a little bit today, we're getting pretty good zones. We're still playing pretty good as well. I kind of wish this last game, the Rondo game that we just had, that we got a little bit more points, but we had like a small disconnect, like in terms of communication. I think we could have gotten a little bit more points. It would have been still a hard game regardless. But what I just want us to keep doing is be confident, communicate to each other, pre-plan. That's just the things I want to hear. If we get hard games and we're following those steps and we're then I don't really mind. But it's important that we keep following those steps and play by the book that we have.
It seems like you'll tell us more details about the high level PUBG you think about. So is there any team you also think they played like high level PUBG right now?
I mean, I think 17 is playing really well. They also won an event at Astana. I really like the way they are rotating right now. It seems like they adapted pretty good. They're looking really strong in fights, the way they're using util. Yeah, big shout out to 17. They're looking really good right now.
Can you share more about the PGC PGS point picks series so close to each other?
Also they're a threat for us. I mean, of course, it's very important for us that we want to end first in PGS points, so we get a direct invite to the finals, what is really important for us. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a little bit suspense, but we'll all wait and see. Thanks for taking the interview again. Thank you for taking your time. See you in games. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Welcome guys, welcome to the interview. We have Shane and Spaceman with us. It's great to have you both here, and this isn't the first time 4M has had to fight through the survival stage, so let's talk about their journey. Look back at PGS 7, what's the biggest lesson 4M took away from missing out of the final stage?
学到了比赛的时候要多冷静，节奏上要慢一点。慢里面会出细活。
Now that you're facing the survival stage again, does it feel different this time?
3大合作组都进了2个了，压力挺大的。
If your whole team got stuck on the island, who do you think would survive the longest?
我觉得是我胖一点，脂肪多一点，应该能扛得久一点。我也挺害怕的，我怕他们给我分尸。
我觉得应该是我，因为我绝对会切他的肉吃。
Yeah, if you can add any PUBG player in the world to your team for one tournament, who would you choose and why?
GodL，因为我没有跟他当过队友。
我也想尝试一下。
When people watch 4M in the survival stage this time, what do you hope they'll see?
4个敢打敢拼，4个愤怒的人。
Thank you both for joining us today, and with best wishes for 4M. Bye bye.
We got next, we ready to flex, we're ready to rock, give it all you got, we got next. Y'all rockin' to the top, can't stop it, must be off your rocker, then you don't stop us. We got next.
We are back for the final match of day one here in the final of PGS 8 from Shanghai, China. This is the moment where you get to say, am I chasing tomorrow or am I leading? And as Ricky Bobby would say, if you're not first, you're last, and you're going to be chasing all day long. My name is TWIS. I'm joined by Matchroom, Avenger, and Mark Power as we bring you the action and talk about the end of the day. I kind of like this Yixi question of who would survive on an island by yourselves. And I love how Spaceman's like, oh, I'm big. I would last a long time. And Shen just looks at him and is like, no, we would eat you. This is just the way it works.
I mean,
brutal reality.
It's important to have survival tactics, right? You know, you go into it and it's like, I know how I'm going to survive this.
I know what I'm going to have to do to take you down. Fascinating. The games are developing. You see Gustav shaking it off, getting ready to get his head back into this. Falcons looks pretty good right now, so I'm not going to talk to the Americas caster. I'm going to stick with my EMEA boys for an unbiased run forward. Has Falcons looked good today, Martin? Do you think this is a PGS 8 championship vibe?
Yes, they have looked good. Obviously, they're in the lead right now. But my problem is the Expendables looked amazing yesterday. They were able to have a 32-point game. They have 8 points so far. I think they need a first 8 for the rest of the day here to get things going.
All right, it's time to get things going as we head to our last map of the day. It's the Grassy Pastures, Game 5, your last chance to dance before the short break, and we return for the second half tomorrow. As the plane is in the air, the missiles are lined up, the players are ready to play. Let's send it over to the dynamic duo. It's Matt and Mark.
We got the first half of the Bible kind of popping off, taking you through this game here as it is going to be who can find is Falcons finding some success in that last game. The one beforehand felt a little bit rough. So we were talking about European casters getting a chance to talk about Falcons. Mark, what you got to say?
I think they've been playing well. I quite like how they're playing. I also like that Gustav is at the top with BB with 10 kills. So there's a lot of EMEA where we send players over to do successful. There's a whole line of story that we can script out. But fundamentally, that last game showed us they've got the level of discipline, they're controlling the zone, they're using the utility they can, and playing very, very strong. No hot drop this time. Flame Path, though, is a southwest, or south, arguably, up towards the northeast, but does favour the very much side of military potential.
A couple of stretches coming out for teams at the tail end of this, but you can see the focus starting to be the Novo side. Going to make quick landings, and it is going to be Twisted and Alpha Gaming right on top of each other. We haven't seen Tycon really be Tycon quite yet. What is that? That's a circle for Game 5 to finish things off. So we've got a hot drop between Alpha Gaming and Twisted Minds, two teams which would like to come out of this unscathed. Lucky enough for them, they are on the military island. I'm also really intrigued to see VP's already moving over that west bridge because they know that DN Supers will be sitting on the other side. It's an early grab to try and secure a spot on military. Timing and the pacing kind of resetting a bit over here in Novo. Nothing really happening yet, and it's really stalling out the loot acquisition for both of these teams. It feels like Twisted's making more of a focus on trying to acquire the tools to move forward into the mid sections, maybe even the later sections. But with Circle East popping down on the military base, there's enough time to maybe make more of a commitment into the firefight. Duckmai is going for more of a position. It looks to see if maybe he can get flanked around Twisted, while the loot's getting better and better by the second. But Tulin's finding himself an M249. Does he have the ammo to work with it is the question.
That will be a question. A question before this fight kicks off is, how do you think the Falcons are doing, Matt? Are you happy with their performance so far in these 4 games that we've had?
Game 3 felt harsh. We've followed them on the saddest day of PUBG play. It felt like for Falcons, or the saddest match, I should say, for Falcons on it. So it's good to see them rebound. I think that they were consistent in the first 2 games. Game 3 didn't feel too good. Game 4 was massive. Great read on circle, playing from the coastline and making their way out. So the system works when it works. Now, can they just find ways to handle whenever they have to chase the circles? Because, my God, they always are chasing the circles, including this one.
I'm with you on that, but at some point you have to adapt to become, I'm that team that chases the circle. The other team, which always will chase a hot drop and I suppose a wrangle is going to be Gen G and Team Liquid. One thing I've noticed from obviously Game 3 and Game 4, Team Liquid making the right plays, the early game really good, but they are not countering that secondary push. Both times JDG obviously counteracted their pushing towards the field, and then we see Kiss, and the Kiss of Death closing things out in that last map as well. So unlucky for Team Liquid, but a good start.
Watching what happened inside the last game and how it all breaks down. We'll keep an eye on anything that's going on, trying to give you guys updates on anything major that's going, specifically that hot droppy style situation. Again, not really a hot drop. We'll have to see. A couple emergency pickups look like they are being called. As this is going to be mostly Falcon show. You can see that this was just them playing along that coastline off the start and then defending. And it feels like Falcons manage to play so much more efficiently whenever they can take control over an area where they know that their back is clear. Having just kickstart flying back behind them gives them so much more open aggression capabilities.
Yeah. I mean, you can see him, he was doing laps backwards and forwards there, and he knew exactly where to pin for that grenade. And the communication, we've been listening to it a few times now with Falcons, it is so clean. They just know exactly what they want to do and how to execute it. And you can even see from that mini-map, the drawings on there, the kind of hold locations, up to 7 kills. And it is a team effort. I know we take the mick out good stuff, obviously getting high kills, no damage. It is a combined 4 that is producing this level of Falcons.
Yeah, the way that they can play whenever all 4 of them were up is the system working perfectly. It feels like whenever Falcons lose a player or 2, that's whenever the component of the function in their firefight is lost. And they're trying to figure out how to work around that now missing piece. And that's going to be how as Falcons evolve, where I think that they're going to start to find more room for growth, because they're going to have a little bit more of the ability to work together. Hey, we come back in perfectly timed for Batulins to spot out Duck by and get that knock.
いやマジで戦うのかこれ。
So we've seen the second one, Lou going scuba Steve on us as he'll go for a rotation round out in the water. He needs to be careful, he doesn't give away any sort of splash sound cues for him, and we're lucky enough to know that that won't be the case. Alpha Gaming has got the res back on, but they are sort of entrenched here in Nova. Other teams looking to try and move in. Everyone's gone towards that southwest of Military Islands at the moment. There are still a large amount of teams that sit on the top side, and 17 Gaming looking to take the emergency pickup.
Very far back, Perfectix just trying to make sure he keeps all of Alpha corralled, and while that Lou backstab is being set up, I mean, it's really about just trying to eat time and eat aggro. And I don't know, feels like Alpha's been kind of stacked up in this corner. Their loot can't be near as good as what we're looking at with Twisted. Is here comes the approach on the side, couple of spaces to work from. It's about 100 meters before they get to the nearest player. Again, with the circle down here, it's not like whoever ends up winning this fight has to go too far to get into the circle. It's just going to be about the fact that you're going to be behind on pace for where you want to play in the circle.
Yeah, and there's still more teams to come over, so they need to be careful, because a team coming in at the right time, if they want to go for a rotation around this east, they might find one of these teams might be scarred and battered slightly. Alpha has got the res back on, so they have moved back in a little bit more towards that west position, as they're trying to bunny hop to get any information they can, but it is limited. Alpha Gaming definitely haven't got quite the same read that Twisted Minds have on them.
Picked up some more loot. Lou going for being sneaky over there. Other side of this, Falcon's going to spot out the rotates on the bridge. That's going to be Godlike going for it. Kick starts up in the glider right now, getting vision of what was going to be happening on the island itself, so he's going to be coming back, but just enough to discourage Godlike right now on their, I guess, approach of that bridge. Instead, they're going to kind of go more over into the gas station, and now Falcons might find themselves entrenched next to Godlike instead of finding any kills on him as Batulins, yet again, going to spot out Simon, get the knock.
Lou just swims this whole way around here and has not helped out at all. First one that's opening, quick kill confirm, and now a crash. 17 obviously did take the emergency pickup over the top, but they landed straight on top of VP. Early rotation for them. It's a 1-2 down. Nixie, Lucrux will remain. They're going to try and defend the compound, but eyes on. Dean Super's coming on the south side, but anyone, Legend, going for the breach.
Lots of nades just being tossed over at Nixie. He's going to take some damage on it with 2 players already down. It's down to him and Lucrux to try to find a way to survive this. Running around the outside, pushing on the stairs. Nothing could be found. VP in second goes down first on this, and anyone's Legend. Last game popping off like they love to do.
Yeah, good day from VP. They're not going to get any more points from here, but 41 to close out is not bad at all. It's just a placement we're looking for. Back to the sneaky rotation from Lou, the shark attack, so to speak. You have eyes on. as I think he's trying to find an opening. Unfortunately for Alpha Gaming, they have no idea that this shark is about to take a bite.
Some damage. He's got to get this knock to make this worth it. Rock's eating up some of the damage. There you go. He does manage to get it. Circle pops and it goes coastline yet again over into the west. You can see Falcon still stacked up next to Godlike. So the eastern section of military base getting dicier as the longer this goes on. Twisted Minds, though, starting to get momentum and control over the firefight. Pow! Goes for Lou. Does get the knock and should be able to get the flush on him. But 2 up for Alpha is going to make this scary as now everybody's starting to cross over this bridge, even with the Expendables coming up back behind Godlike.
Yeah, Kick is airborne as well. He's got confirmation, so he's claiming kills from the skies. And he's obviously keeping an eye on his team. Godlike remains at the petrol garage, though. Again, the Expendables rotating in behind. And for Kick, again, a good couple of shots. Does the damage. I think objective is now keep Falcons alive.
Over into the west, Petrichor Road is trying to take control over that bridge for the time being. Team Liquid's going to be crossing over there. Maybe Gen G back behind them as well. Bridge still in play, but just a smidgen of land going to be going into Ferry Pier on that section of the circle. Almost everybody else already in a decent position. It is going to be supers that have the big hillside over in the west that we know is just a feature for so many of these games. 17 keeping control over that compound that we saw a lot of the fighting that was going on with Anyone's Legend over there. Well, I shouldn't say keeping control. 17 only has 1 player up with all of Anyone's Legend around. E Arena is just going to be to the northeast of that. Then it is going to be JDG down to the south with Myth. And there you go. There's finally the 17 player getting removed as Anyone's Legend gets the compound, and it's pretty decent in the circle.
It is pretty decent in the circle at the moment. Obviously, teams obviously did favour him for that sort of southwest side. Gen G going to take the emergency pickup as well now, as they will go airborne. Everyone else, though, stacking up on that sort of west bid. Petrichor Road is there. Team Liquid is the same. They're going to try and find an entry point where they can. Twisted Minds still fighting Alpha. And Godlike now giving up the opportunity to cross over the bridge.
See the emergency pickup crossing through the mini-map down there, as it is going to be Gen G that went for the call on it. Going to be leapfrogging over this whole Ferry Pier bridge situation over into the west, with now again the Expendables spawning out Godlike. They're going to be making a move for the western bridge as well. So more focal points just going to be happening right on the edge of the zone. Twisted still caught up with Alpha over there, and the remnants of Alpha, I should say. Godlike making their cross, I don't think should be moving over where Perfectix is at. So this is kind of the tail, I guess the start of what was going on with VP. And it's just too many teams that caught over here. Had 17 and Anyone's Legend timed it perfectly on their approach.
Yeah, problem is that 17 coming in from the skies, right? They were a nice charge and a complete overload, unfortunately, for VP. But as I said, a good day so far. Petrichor Road, though, needs to get the momentum back up, as they started with don't get with additional points, but only up to 24, so they have really struggled to get points on the board for a large number of the games. The RDM in hand, they are over on military, but they could potentially close the bridge. Team Liquid looking to try and follow that one, but back on the other side, we still have Twisted Minds fighting out with Alpha and Petulant.
Wow. So just 1 up, but that one is Tycon, and you never want to count out Tycon. He can absolutely murk you if you aren't paying attention to it. He's going to be pretty much where he landed at, not too much further that he had to go. New Circle Pop still keeps it in a ton of water, so over into the west, you can see it is going to be everybody getting clustered along the hillside. Super's going to regroup on the higher sections of it. JDG is going to be going straight up for the coastline. One of the few teams that's opted in for that strategy right now is Falcons. Not a lot of options. They're going to be sending it in right as Gen G is making landfall from their emergency pickup onto these dips from the mortars. Just high ground coming up from Gen G, but Falcons weren't really in a position to take shots at them on their landing.
Falcons sort of threaded the needle, didn't they? They went underneath early on. Gen G obviously comes on the adjacent side and around above them. Myth taking some pop shots, and Falcons getting a little bit of a bypass now towards kind of the red zone and taking full advantage to keep these car tyres safe. Tiggleton, no. Launches the grenade, goes over towards the top. Oh, and opens things up. D will go down, follows up with the blue zone. C4, that way will be able to launch over for Falcons. They have an opportunity. They're getting in the cars. Kick even coming down to ground level as it sweep on past the bomber approach from Kickstart.
Oh, narrowly avoiding that nade that went pretty far down the hillside. Salute does spot out Kickstart, gets the knock onto him, but if this gets loud, third and fourth parties are going to start getting more active. Petrichor Road spotting what's going on top of this hillside. Looks like they're trying to get involved. But now Gen G starting to see if they can get themselves back into a more defendable position as meds and information look like they're starting to get more and more of a factor. Remember, Gen G came into this wild. They had no idea on the positioning for everybody else. So luckily for them, it looks like Team Liquid is trying to make a cross on a boat. That's pulled Petrichor E-Arena's attention off what's happening on the hillside, but Godlike is going to be following up back behind, similar pathing to what we see Falcons. And as these nades roll down, if Godlike opposite of cresting the top of this hill, it's just going to be a perfect pinch on the Falcons.
This will be a perfect pinch on the Falcons, but we're pinch into the comms zone. See what the big eyes for Falcons are going to bring to this game.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yes. Like behind the rock. To the US. I saw, but he can peek it direct. Yeah, there's a red zone hole, not on the rock, but there's two huge fucking red zone holes right behind it, and there's one on the left. Like, there's a million of them there, so you're just never gonna be able to kill them.
Listen, there's also a hole on orange that people can play later. It's really good to kill us. G's also down one.
I don't know if you come to me, Tech is not nice. Crate landing.
There's a crate next to us, yeah.
We have full LOS on the...
Cars behind us.
I'm gonna run to my triangles once they fall in.
Team is putting up behind us now. To me, I don't know what it...
Oh, poor Shrimsy. I don't think that I've ever seen with the helmet anymore as Nade's going to start coming out and defending on the coastlines. Lou's going to be over here as, yeah, that magic's managed to happen. I don't know who called the emergency pickup, but I'm having to make an assumption it was going to be Twisted Minds. So we got a lot of people just trying to jump out into the thick of this as this is going to be a very open circle. Finally abandoning the hillside where we can see it's going to be Supers, GK, and MiTH all starting to fight for in that section where the expendables are just getting popped. Too many different targets around them to try to defend them.
This is very difficult. Team Liquid storming the beach and getting the expendables though subject to explosive ending, and it hasn't been an explosive start. 8 kills for day one. I thought they would be popping off, especially with that momentum from that survival stage, but not going to be the case. Back towards things as JD will hold. Twisted Minds somehow get their boots on the ground.
Okay, JD lands, and it's going to be a cold, finding it quick. At range, there's going to be a couple of people trying to make landfall as well as Twisted. Looks like they're getting spotted out by Supers. So, Cold got what he wanted out of it. Looks like does he want any more? Nope, it's just going to be the shack, and it's going to be defense. Try to see if they can get the res. Maybe see if he can get that last little bit in the flush.
Let's get the last bit on the flush. Explosive damage, not going to be the case. The shack provides the cover. Twisted Minds gets the bodies back up. Smoke will start to dissipate for JD Gaming. Lost one. Here's a hill they might not want to crest over because a lot of people will be able to see. But a blue zone, well placed, and will cause some damage, forcing Twisted Minds now just to get those smokes back out. And it actually gives him an opening now to potentially launch out these grenades. Goes around the outside, bit of damage on one. The second one does more. For example,
but I mean, it's just a matter of time, it feels like. No real big push coming out from JDG because they don't want to walk into the more open section where they can get really ripped apart, that hillside just being enough. Up on the high point of what we're going to be looking at, the focal point for a lot of these teams is going to be MiTH, kind of caught up with GK, but it's just going to be people finding different angles, and finally MiTH do manage to take down GK. But MiTH is going to be limping into this circle. They have got to get this res up fast, and they're going to be moving into the more open section that Supers are already defending.
I do like this there, because even if you come off the hill, there's a bit of tree cover, so it gives them a little bit of a stopgap. Unlike some of these other teams rotating their way around, Godlike gets caught out though, which will find one. December 12 finds Purdy as he went, I suppose, for a swim across the top side. Can't pull up on the arena, and Lewis gets away with it and holds the line. 1 HP, and he's store up.
Careful, Tony up on top, and he's got any nades, anything else to throw down there. Meds do Godlike gets eliminated. It's going to be Delvin that hits the last shot on it. Falcons making their push right on top of Gen G. Soul going to be trying to defend. He's the point man. Trimsy, other side of it for the Falcons, already down below half life. Juking between it all. Tig inside the car. Nice. Too many targets. Gustav manages to spot out Soul and take him down.
Yeah, he gets the opportunity now to get the med back on. Tig looking to try and drive his way through. Surprise! He arrives and he gets an opportunity. Shots will come through. Zone comes back their way. The Tig is there to stay. He steps up and over and he's over and down. Gustav now has to try and keep the pressure on to keep Tig in the fight.
Irina the other side of approach. It is just going to be poor old Salute. Falcons in front of him. Irina back behind him. MiTH trying to swarm down onto Falcons out of that high ground. Gen G does get eliminated, but Falcons still in it. ton of trouble as Gustav has way too many opponents around him to survive. Blue zone just chipping away at him. The circle's popped. At least it's going to be close, so he can try to creep over if this firefight does break out between Myth and E-Arena.
He hasn't got the meds. I think he's reliant on that fight kicking off. If he does, he has a little dart towards blue zone. He can see Kiss now cross over. He does go for the bunny hop, looking for the opportunity to launch out. Goes back towards one of the crates. That should be able to resupply the meds. Now 6 remain from him. So he knows exactly where 1 is. The time he wants to take the shot, Gustav doesn't wait for no man and puts Kiss in the dirt.
That's now giving away his position. The firefight also is now bringing more of E-Arena into this angle.
Oh.
Nate starting to roll out. Gets a lot of damage.
They won't
chip it away. He wants to make sure to get the flush. He's going to go down, does at least get the flush. So that is going to be Falcons down in first place right now, but Myth out surviving him. Still 3 players up. They've got E-Arena in a more open section of the circle. They have to traverse.
Yeah, I suppose lost a little bit of confidence now on that push. Didn't find the arena. Made a time to now disengage. Team Liquid, it's a bit of an unfortunate ending. Birdie got caught on the swim across. JD Gaming have been, I suppose, in this position for quite some time, watching the game unfold in front of him, and it's down to Cowboy. He has to make the dart. The Stallion gets galloping forward, but if he gets spotted by E-Arena, Lyrics just turns around one time. He's in open terrain.
Slow, steady run forward as now we're looking more into the west. JDG is getting close to Twisted Minds, who's managed to do mostly resets. I'm kind of shocked, given the fact that they were in such a terrible situation a little while ago. It felt like maybe the focal point in firefighting got a bit further out. This poor little Cowboy dying in the distance, looking at the sunset. As now it's going to be Alpha, who's managed to get a couple of their players back up, and oddly enough, going to be approaching kind of similar to where Twisted Minds is at.
Arena got a bit of a blessing there. Cowboy has been on form today, so now he turns around and has a look, but unfortunately no kills to be had out in the blue. Alpha Gaming, and obviously for Twisted Minds, that early scrap that's left him in rags, and now sort of crawling their way in after the recall. He can't lay down here. He needs to keep ahead of the blue. Tries a second time over, sees some players and realizes that this might not be the game plan and will deny it. Alpha Gaming, though, thinking about the best of 10, and they'll say goodnight for day 1.
The big opportunity for Myth is Falcons, VP, and 17 have all fallen back behind them. Supers, JDG, the teams that are going to be on the hunt for points. So 11-point gap right now, and Circle does them a little bit of a favor. They don't have to go too much further into the circle, but they are going to have to deal with Supers, Twisted, and JDG also having to go into the circle at the same time as them. This is a very open circle, so explosions, any mortars that you have might be able to find some type of dip to work in. It is about to be really scary over here. It's just going to be firefighting capabilities, and whenever it leans into that, Myth feels like they've got it in spades.
About to say the same thing. And it literally to the point, these teams are on the outside. Just on the edge of the ridge, they have to cross and go over the top, and when they do, it goes into this kind of bowl. Petrichor Road already there, grenades going 1, 2, 3 as they land straight in the hole and traverse all the way towards the buildings. Example, the final player gets the spray, hits for 22, has to be cautious though, he has to try and make the stop. JD Gaming know there's more points to be had. The car will come through, looking for the cook, it goes by, it goes out the back door, and the molly stops him escaping.
Nade a little bit overcooked. Doesn't get what he wants out of it. Now here comes everything being tossed at the shack. Example reads it, runs back out. Got himself in a good spot. Goes for the spray. Does manage to get the knock on the one. Follows up on the other. Now JDG, who wanted this, suddenly are starting to regret it. As Example is gatekeeping out.
Yoshi!
Side. He does go down. But now it is going to be JDG full damage control running into a circle while anyone's legend looks to backstab.
Look at him, as he knows he wants some kills. They want to try and end today a little bit further up the leaderboard, straight out, straight to the hill. Doesn't find what he wants and instantly called back to safety. They've got the cover, they've got the compound, and at the moment, anyone's legend looking to try and convert that to the win.
What is it with anyone's legend in the last game of the day, man? It's like make or break time as it finally gets all of their mental and all their stress out, and they're just taking it out on the lobby. Anyone's legend presently at 4. E-Arena at 7 kills, though, and they're going to be moving into the open arms of where we can see Super is trying to defend up, but they've got to deal with closer range. Myth has a ton of nades. Jacob's going to have to try to juke these out as the bounces go a little bit awry just due to all the explosions. Solus will finish it off, so make Super's job a little bit easier on this section of the circle. JDG, what do? Is now you have to move into where Petrichor Road, Supers, E-Arena, and anyone's legend all might have vision on you.
They might have the vision. Let's see if they get the hold. Human looking to try and get any kind of elevation where he can. JD Gaming, nice push towards Twisted Minds. I kind of think they're looking at this circle. It's really difficult for them to get in to maximize the amount of points they can. They're currently in 5th on 37 in the arena. Well, 7-12 will fall down back in the car, finding more safety, but I think this is the end of the road for day one.
Yeah, you can play this ridge for a little while longer. It'll get you into circle. So that's at least a tree and some cover. Circle does pop, and it's down around this area. So anyone's legend arena now having to be the moving factor. Deal's got to be careful. There, it's got to be finally spotted out. Nons goes down. Supers manages to pick up the kill. Super's got control of the circle, but with the focus they're now starting to take on a Petrichor Road, they better be careful. Flanks coming in, and it's fast from the arena.
Yeah, these bodies that have been up have got numbers, right? So again, everyone's trying to maximize as much as they can. The arena work their way around. The Lucky Rabbit looking to try and convert. They will find an opportunity to pop out of smoke though, Norman, so we'll look to go over the top. Opens will open things up with an outstanding grenade, and with the Inner Supers already down some bodies, they are going to try and get as much util back to them to try and delay the push. Flash will go through though. Norman needs to try and step out, but they just barrage a couple of shots in towards the smoke, but it's nothing to be connected.
We're in a ninja battle here. Everybody fighting in the smokes. The shield down to give some distance away in case anybody goes for any sprays, but it's all going to be around him right now. Nurin's going to go ahead and get the flush onto Guman.
No.
Rax comes up. Perfect backstab. Gets one. Instantly retreats. Spins back around. Opon takes down Nurin's. The confusion in the smoke. Big a problem. And Rex is capitalizing off
뭐지?
the smoke dissipates. Rex plays it perfect.
Outstanding. He completely lost the White Rabbit twice
PPP.
over a hit and run, and he dispatches of the E arena. Now, anyone's legend looking to be hungry. They push out the compound for a second time. Himas has been let off the lead now as he looks to try and close that deal. The final player for DN Supers.
Petrichor Road's been pretty quiet for right now. They haven't gotten too involved in any of this rotate coming up from anyone's legend, so now the focal point for anyone's legend, just trying to get as many kills as possible. They want to climb 7 right now and feeling like it's going to be 8 in any given moment. But the way we've been seeing Supers play, finding these miracle moments happening for themselves. I-26 does go for a couple of shots. Deal does get the knock on a high mass. Can he find anything else before he goes down? No, but the damage is now done inside the middle of the mollies. High mass goes down. Petrichor Road now has the numbers advantage. Take that back. Nade lands perfectly. Chewy goes down.
Anyone's legend, it feels like they've been let off their leash. They go for it, 3 versus 3. Petrichor Road needs to awaken. Destroyer does the damage. BRDM is completely cooked, but it does provide the cover. No vest, no helmet. Has to keep eyes on both angles.
Vehicle is going to be coming into play. Looks like it's going to go for a wrap. See if they can make sure to secure down Delwyn or get into position using these rocks. Maybe a little bit of both. 2 players up for anyone's legend. Kill count's been climbing versus Petrichor Roads, but it's also weakened them walking into these later stages. Can they use the momentum of the kills that they managed to pick up, as well as having center dot control with Destroy? Can that give them enough to take on Petrichor Road, who looks like they are better off in economy right now, and also have a little bit more of an angle where they're trying to make sure that they keep control on that center dot where Destroy is at. Sololzi is going to have a brutal push to try to regroup.
Yeah, they've lost their sort of flank. They kind of went all the way around out east and west and try and push through. Petrichor Road kept their head down and kept out of action. Destroy, well, has a FAMAS. We know that can destroy when required. He's on the side of the Dorita. It has fallen nicely for him, so he's farming that information. The smoke's about to dissipate, so he's going to have to go for that re-smoke because you can't take him into tomorrow. So 1 more left. Snowsy will back around using the smoke wall himself. He's going to come up in and behind Destroyer. So for anyone's legend, a complete different game style compared to Petrichor Road. Petrichor Road knows exactly where they launched this barrage grenade. There goes the first one. Here comes number 2.
Doesn't do too much damage, but does force anyone's legend out of the smoke. Destroy has to surrender center dot. So it's now him and Sololzi held up next to each other. Tries to go for a position back in. Petrichor Road using the nades to push anyone's legend back so that way they can make their charge forward. Nades continuing to rain down onto anyone's legend. They're doing a great job of juking them for the time being, but it feels like it's only a matter of time before one of them pops. How much of them have they burned out from Petrichor Road? Is Petrichor Road is just using this little bit of a ridge on the hillside to walk up next to the Dorito, and anyone's legend doesn't want to take the fight just yet. They're fine with playing the smokes, surrendering it. They don't want to go for a peek out and allow that third player that's on an off angle to punish them.
Really good play from anyone's legend, right? They were up on the hard cover, they popped the smoke, the grenades started coming in, but they backed away. They allowed that hard cover to swallow up all of the utility. Now they can work their way back. Unfortunately for them, they've lost obviously information. That has allowed Petrichor Road to sort of sneak up, but they are belly down. The moment they want to stand up, there's an animation. That animation might be the deficit for them. Anyone's legend, aggressive, moving the car, again, keeping Petrichor Road on their toes.
Petrichor Road right next to the center dot now. Just trying to use the Doritos themselves that are set. Anyone's legend using the smokes, and I love this. Get on top of the car to see if you can spot anybody over, but Petrichor Road still playing a bit further down the hillside for most of the play. 0-4 going to be the closest guy to center dot right now, and he's going to be the linchpin. Looks like Petrichor Road, I-26, and Ming Ming have moved more to the south to see if they can get a double-up angle onto anyone's legend, but they're not overpeaking it. It's so hard for anyone's legend, whenever you're playing, getting as many kills and the momentum that you have, to reset and slow the pacing back down, but that's exactly what they're doing, and they're forcing all the onus, all the pressure onto Petrichor Road, and Petrichor Road bites. That is going to be destroyed, getting this one knock and turning it back around into a 2v2.
Has gone for a 2 versus 2. Smokes work both ways. Petrichor Road
強
tries
気に
to
行
take
きたい。
advantage.
ういった、マジだ。
They've got the
マジ。
P90. They've got the Famis though, but they go down to a single player destroyer. Famis in hand. Tries to take on the 2 versus 1. Doesn't find the first body. Has to take towards the ground. The flash will go out. That'll give him the opportunity, but it does give him the information that he's coming that way. One behind cover. Emmy playing in the open terrain on the off angle, and they are waiting.
ああ、今ガソリン打とうとしてました。今ベートしたガソリンで。
Game here for day number 1. Match 5 has been set, and what an outstanding game, Matt.
Petrichor Road quiet through most of the day, but finds it in the end whenever it really matters. The path to success. Now maybe finding something is a little bit of a discussion about how maybe things could have gone differently in the game, or something could have gone a little bit better. As let's tag back in TWIS and Avenger to take us through the tail end of the day.
You know, it's not lost on me that as the day ended, we talked about the start. This is where you have to sort of make a statement and not be a chase on the final day. And the teams that came to the end there, they had to put points up. E-Arena got 9 kills. They were sort of in a chase position. We saw Anyone's Legend decided, hey, we're going to be here and we're going to put some moves on. They had 13 points when this one kicked off, Mark, and then now look at them.
Yeah, it's closed off, right? It's trying to set the standard out for tomorrow so they can come back with some confidence. They've got some VOD reviews to happen to figure out, actually, those early games, what didn't quite work out for us. The only problem is you've got 5 games left to do it. We're doing a best of 10, not a best of 15. So good ending for a lot of these teams. Crazy circle and huge amounts of water these teams have to deal with.
Yeah, it seems like it's becoming a reality, Martin, that the last Erangel of the day results in some sort of nutty circle that's half military, a plane path that isn't fair, and everyone just has to play scramble from the jump.
Yeah, it's becoming the rule instead of the exception here. It's a little bit rough for some of the teams, but it's very fun to watch. I'll say I've been very impressed with how Petrichor Road and Legends also approaching this one here. Forcibly taking away the compound from VP, winning that out. That's amazing to see. But also, a not home turf circle played the way for Petrichor Road after it was their farm and their school. They have to get all the way down here, have to fight their way through potential bridge campers, and also have enough util and enough gut to fight this one through here. Very impressed with that game.
Yeah, I will say that, if anything, Anyone's Legend to me stood out with the gut, as Martin puts it, Matt. They seemed like they came in, they said, you know what, we're tired of not getting points. They picked up some pretty brutal firearms and took the fight to everybody, and I respect that. That's what I want to see when it comes to AO.
But that's the thing, is it always feels like it's game 5. When do they get mad at like game 2 and decide to start doing this? Is the coastline, you can see, was just craziness. Anyone's Legend, we know, is a phenomenal fragging team, and they can take fights at any given stage, but it feels like, I don't know, they just get more and more frustrated game upon game, and then finally the last one they're like, that's it, we're just killing everything, and go berserker rage on a lobby. If they can summon that at any other stage, their point totals would be so much better.
All right, we talked at the start of the day, Mark, about MiTH, their group stage dominance at EWC, them winning 2 PGSs this year, and where have they been? What are they doing? It's not lost on me that they're first place at the end of day 1.
Yeah, really strong from MiTH, right? Well, we had 2 seconds, a third, right? It's a really good place from them. Look, the consistency's there. It's that whole driving forward. If they just got people in their line of sight, they W key down, they go push for the kills, and as a result, they find themselves on top of the leaderboards.
Petrichor Road does win the map, but without overwhelming stats to support it. It's going to be good for them, but it's not going to drive them up as high as I think they'd like to get off of that last game. That said, Martin, you brought it up. They had not a home circle, big work to do. Coming away with a chicken dinner off the back of that scenario in such a difficult circle is going to be good for them, but also a confidence boost going into tomorrow for a team that does seem to be getting better slowly.
Oh, look at that handsome man with that man of the match, though, TWIS. I have to interject this one here. What a play from him. The way he played around, that we lost our mind, TWIS. They got outplayed with an AK.
Yep. E-Arena got dunked on by this guy. He rope-a-doped him. He spooked him. He was the wraith inside of the smoke, the ghost in the darkness. He stabbed him in the back and made them shoot themselves. Like, that was like horror movies, like watching Scream. He was inside the house the entire time. So great plays by him to find points and essentially completely crush E-Arena, who had 9 kills to that point. It wasn't a lackadaisical game by any means for that matchup, and to lose it off of the back of Rex wrecking, that's gotta be painful for the Rabbits.
Just ninja fighting in the smokes. He juked between them. I mean, we saw so many little smart plays from him. He set up the shield knowing how they were going to be advancing, so that way if he had to take any shots and the rest of the team took shots at him from them. But instead, they just run by him, and he sneaks back out, counter peeks through both sides of the smoke, and just catches them entirely unaware. And like you said, and we mentioned in the broadcast, E-Arena just starts spinning around and shooting themselves because they're just so lost in the smoke and what's going on.
They can't see anything. They don't have the information. They're just terrified. Now everybody's terrified of Made in Thailand. When we got to EWC, the interviews across the stage from a lot of teams were like, that's the team to watch. They're really good. And that stopped after the group stages. Martin, here they are again. 47 points in the same point sphere as Falcons, Supers, and Virtus Pro, where they should be.
Yeah, are we back? Is this are we back to greatness? They didn't chase circles as much today, and they were able to just hit the hammer on the head. A lot of great clutches from both Kiss, and also some standout performances for the rest of the guys. Scappy did extremely well throughout the day as well, I feel like. But yeah, mid leading, a little bit scared, guys, because it does smell a little bit like something we've tried before.
Let's take a look at the participating teams who are going to be playing again. Same teams tomorrow. Same guys coming in from Survival. We've seen a lot of teams step up, but right now I think, Mark, the question is, who's going to step up and make moves? Gammon the Expendables only has 8 points on the entire day. Geeke, who had a good day yesterday, down at 18. And Twisted Minds, 23 and 13th place.
Yeah, let's tackle GAM first. They've just really not performed, right? Even arguably a game that they had on game 3, they put some big points. That's going to put them back into the mix. They need to start tomorrow with that. It's really sort of top of the leaderboard. It's kind of Made in Thailand, Falcons. You can never lose track of where VP are going. So for me, it's definitely all eyes on for them. Would like to see, obviously, Falcons obviously conquering, stay on top, but you've got the likes of even 17 Gaming chasing things down as well. So it's going to be interesting 5 games tomorrow.
It should be a very interesting. It is going to be time to take on, and that's also something that we didn't really talk about. We'll talk about more tomorrow. The fact that it's changed up. Time to Tego is first and last, so you have to make the adjustments. You don't get to finish on the grassy pastures, but a man who can make adjustments is the IGL of Falcons. Let's check in with Gustav.
From Falcons with us here, let's say hello to the audience. Hello. Yeah, it seems like you're in a good mood because we talk a lot in front of the interview. It seems like a good mood. How do actually feel right now?
How I actually feel right now. I mean, I feel fine. I don't know what place we're interviewing, second or third, but I mean, it's better than last week, so I feel decent, I guess.
Okay, let's talk about today's game, because you're like totally 2 different teams compared with yesterday. So what is the reason behind this?
I don't know, we're just trying to bring some more energy into the games, and I don't know if we're necessarily 2 different teams. I think it's a BO5 the other 2 days, and with the state of the game sometimes, like, you cannot always have like the best day and be the most consistent, but I definitely think we clutched out the games we should today.
But you're kind of consistent in today's game. Congratulations. And you like played incredible in Rondel, like you get 8 kills in 1 map. So what you learned in that game, can we expect to see more performance like that in future?
I think I just had pretty good positioning in most of the moments. I also learned that I probably shouldn't be changing my sense because I've been doing that a lot recently, and I was beaming that game on my old sensitivity. So that's what I learned from that game.
Can we like expect to see more performance like that?
I mean, I think it's not that often that I'm going to be getting 8 kills. It should more be like Tick or Shrimsy usually getting that. I think Tick had 0, so I'm expecting 8 for him tomorrow and 0 for me.
Okay, looking forward to that. Let's talk about the Circuit 3 schedule, because it's like halfway through the Circuit 3 right now. So do you feel happy about your situation, like in the halfway through? How will like rate your performance till so far?
I mean, I don't really feel happy. We got like 13th or 14th in the last PGS, but I definitely think we have been on the road now for like a month, so we've all been very exhausted, and I think energy is for sure something that makes our team really good, and we've really been lacking energy this event and concentration, and just because we played 2 tournaments prior to this, so we just had a talk about like we just need to try and bring that energy and get the best out of it, and I think that's why we played a lot better today.
But we're glad to see that you have like more energy right now. So looking forward you guys playing well in tomorrow's game, and thanks for taking your time to take the interview. See you in the tomorrow finals. Bye.
If we're learning anything this season, it's that the challenge for a lot of these players is mental tenacity, bounce back, and communication, especially with the current schedule. They nailed it. You're hearing in the interviews every time that we talk, even to NMSS, who's like new in this scenario. They look exhausted. The teams are tired. And to me, that's fine. That's how it works, right? Sometimes you have a really tough double headers all week long, and the team that has the mental tenacity, the ability, the training, the preparation are the ones that come out on top. Falcons, I did like hear Gustav saying, I didn't change the sensitivity. I learned not to change things. I do love that, Matt.
That's what I was going to jump in on. You're talking about like all the mental consistency, and I was like, no, Gustav, I feel you as another guy that's constantly changing his sense, because he's just like, maybe it'd be better this other way, and then suddenly I don't know how to shoot my gun anymore. Well, whatever sensitivity he had today was enough to get him those kills, so it's going to be great to see how they kind of grow out of this, because this is going to be interesting to watch with Falcons, because we've often seen them this year kind of being chasing circles, trying to climb the leaderboard. Now that they're in a great position at the start of day, or at the end of day 1, moving into the start of day 2, how are they going to play differently?
I think that's where it comes out. You heard that last question. Are you happy with where you guys stand at the end of the day today? And I think Gustav was like, I don't really know how I feel about that right now, because at the end of the day, 3rd is good, but it's not in 1st. On the other hand, Mark, it means you're not in 1st, and no one's going home and looking at you and planning for you and figuring out how to chase you down. It's almost like, for me, I kind of like that shadow position. You're not the leader, but you might be the mind behind him.
See, I'm the opposite for that. I understand what you're saying. I'm definitely a guy that likes to be in front and keep driving forward. I think we find in some teams that when they get to the front, they start looking backwards, and then you have those teams kind of lurking and chasing things down, right? I'm a once you're ahead, W key and keep going, and I worry because a Made in Thailand has that capability of doing that. They might like to try and put the gap. Now, I really like what Gustav said about him getting 8 kills. I don't think he's quite clocked how much damage Tickleton done during that game, and he might work out the maths of how many kills he stole and from who. But that's good. But it's good to see that team in that sort of strong place, because earlier on we've seen them question and Gustav going back and going, I don't think I've done things right. How do you guys think I've done? He's the leader now, right? That brotherhood they speak about, they need to continue with that, and they need to back with Gustav, and it sounds like they're getting to that point, and it's really good to see with Falcons.
If anything, Gustav making the joke about Tiggleton getting 8 kills shows me that the Brotherhood is starting to work, right? Because 100%. I guarantee they went back after that game. I guarantee that Gunnar had the stats and was like, oh, you got the MVP, and they kind of argued about who stole kills from each other. Like, I guarantee that was part of it. And so being able to go up on stage and give a little bit of banter to Tiggleton and be confident that he's going to be positive about it means that these guys are finally getting that sort of power of friendship, quote unquote, family feel up and running. And that's not just them. We've heard that sentiment from multiple teams, including Team Liquid and others, that everything is just about getting communication and sort of a family feel. And I think that's what, Matt, that's important, Martin, when things are crazy, when the world feels like it's stacked against you, it's family that gets you through it. And I think right now with this meta and how chaotic it is, that's something that our teams are falling back on.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's no denying that this leaderboard is closer than anyone likes in the top, so nobody's going to be really looking at each other saying, oh, we got to stop these guys. It's about playing the game. What really came to fruition for Falcons today was obviously the game where, sure, they had one of the kind of worst spots coming in from the northern side, but their path into the circle, they realized we got to backfill this position. If we're coming in last in the circle for the second and circle, Pop came into a good spot, and they set up in a fantastic way where they're able to deny multiple teams. And with kind of Kick coming in with the high ground information from the bird in the sky, that's where it's really good. It doesn't matter who's stealing what, like who's getting the last hit. Sure, take some damage. But be able to get those kills that's on the ground that other teams not, and flushing those. That's where it really matters. He's tied first for most kills today, Gustav, with 12. With Rex, I believe it was. So overall, fantastic day for them. And it doesn't matter as long as you're winning together as a family, as a team.
結局は平均的に高いポイント、まあある程度ポイント取れるチームが上に上がるイメージだからね。あとはアンチームはなんか必要っぽいね。実際。あんまり言いたくないけど、アンチームも必要だと思う。だから外れた時にどれだけポイントが取れる。
having gone from Paris to
のと
Kazakhstan to
アンチを引いたときに勝ちきれるかどうか。勝ちきれなかったら、それこそキルポイントを重視にムーブを持っていくか。
That is true. No one fights like family. I think everybody from real family to our casting crew to everyone else who travels the world together understands that fights happen, but that's what makes you strong is when you get through it together. And so these teams are proving that right now. All right, let's talk about final thoughts. The end of day today is done. We got our 5 games in the hopper. We got 5 more coming tomorrow, and then we lift the trophy and we crown a champion. So that's not far in the future. I want to see what you guys think. Looking forward to tomorrow's play. Match'em, final thoughts on the day?
Circles, man. That's all I can say. You're fighting the circles more than you're fighting the opponents. We've been seeing some crazy hardships, crazy circle ones. Prep for the worst, and then maybe you'll get the best.
明日の PGS8 のファイナル終わったら、来週のグランドファイナルは15試合あるから、それはもうめっちゃ楽しみ。2日と3日はだいぶ違うからね。10試合と15試合は全然違うから、追い上げが見られるかもしれない。
MiTH had 48 points on that record-breaking day on their day 1 for PGS6. And that one, they're 47 today, just 1 point shy of that. If they're able to continue this fiesta of fighting and kind of just pushing everyone and winning those fights, especially taking teams down like VP, then they're going to be taking another trophy. I'm looking at that, and if Kiss is able to, shake off the nerves of playing pool and billiards with me in the future, then I think they're going to be able to win.
Yeah, it's tough playing against you. All right, so guys, that is it for today. We're back tomorrow in the same time, in the same place for the final 5 matches here to crown a champion. But if you haven't had enough PUBG in your life, I've got good news for you. The PEC Cup kicks off in 3 hours' time, where Mark is going to eat a quick sandwich and I assume take a fast nap or possibly go get some grooming done. And then he's going to come back with Kovo and they're going to cast that thing. So if you need some more PUBG in your life, stick around and get that today. If not, be here tomorrow, because with the leaderboard at the top 3 teams separated by only 2 points, it is still anyone's game and is going to be a lot of fun tomorrow. But until then, on behalf of myself, Match'em, Avenger, Mark, Power, our entire production team, Crafton, and all of the players, thank you so much for spending your day with us. And until we see you tomorrow, play more PUBG.